Hello everybody and welcome to the NLC Aurora Cup. My name is Hitbrain and I'm joined by the wonderful Aragon. It has been a very long time, my friend. How have you been? It feels too long.
Solid 2 months. No, long overdue. I'm really excited for today, man. I mean, I just want to get right into it. Tell me what's special about today, Hitbrain.
Okay, so for anybody who hasn't been paying attention, it's fine. It has been off-season. Worlds is going on. There's a lot of things that have probably flown under the radar and all the manicness that goes on Twitter at the moment. But we are playing Fearless Draft for the Aurora Cup for the entirety of this tournament. Each series will be a best of 5, and Fearless Draft is the coolest aspect about this whole thing, and I'm super excited. I've not actually been this excited about casting a League of Legends series in a long time. But basically what Fearless Draft means is we'll be playing regular draft, but they can only ever pick one champion once for the whole series. So if you pick a Azir in one game, for the rest of the 4 games remaining after that, if you pick it in game 1, you cannot play Azir. Now, the other side can still play Azir, so you're only taking the champion away from yourself. I feel Aragon's probably the best person with a pro player's head on his head, or ex-pro player on his head. He can probably tell us, what this actually will maybe mean. So, I mean, I'm just going to hand the mic over to you, mate. You can break down what you think this is going to mean for the players.
So I think it's super exciting, right? It tests a bunch of different things. There's so many implications. Like, of course, the first one is it tests your champion pool. So if you're a veteran, you're way more likely to have a bunch of different picks. But I think the biggest thing this tests as well is your ability to draft when you don't know exactly what, types of the champions exactly do, because you're going to be branching off to off-meta stuff. And typically in League, you categorize picks into, this is a peel-back champion, this is a poke champion, but do you know exactly what a Mumu does, right? So for example, if you go to the LDL, one of the champions that was eventually picked in like game 5 of a series, they needed hard engage, they needed magic damage, they went down to a Mumu, right? That's the kind of nonsense we're going to be dealing with. So can you create cohesive drafts with a clear win condition with these picks that aren't necessarily very common?
I really like that as well, because what I am most excited about is actually what the implications are on when you decide to pick certain champions, because you don't know if this is going to just be a 3-game and a 3-0 or you're going all the way to 5. So you got to be decisive on when you're going to pick a certain champion and when maybe you pick your off-meta stuff. So one of the examples we gave when we were talking off air was, let's say you pick Yasuo mid, as you decide you want to kind of keep the mid pool a little bit wider open, and you pick like Malphite top lane, or some kind of jungler that enables it as well with a knock-up, and then you go, okay, let's not just full funnel into the Yasuo, let's pick like a meta bot lane or a really powerful bot lane, and then you throw that game, then suddenly it kind of doesn't matter that you use Yasuo Malphite up, because they're probably not going to be that high in demand. But let's say you've had Zyra Khan as your insurance and you've lost of it, then suddenly that Zyra Khan is gone. And in a game where maybe it could have been better suited, you're not going to be able to play that Zyra Khan. Or let's say you have a team that functions really well and like someone like a Jarvan really enables it, but it gets banned away. But you still have the ability to pick the champions that would work in that comp. And then you're like, do you risk giving this comp over to the enemy team and just hope that they also can't make it work without the Jarvan? Or do you pick this up and then hope that it works? And if it doesn't work and the next game something like a Jarvan's open, it's really, really exciting. I'm very excited for it. Anyway, this is what we've got coming up over the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks, shall I say. Today is our first match, our best of 5. This is going to be Fourth Wall versus K5. Then we got Lazy versus DMG, Natives versus JL, and then Verdant versus Ruddy coming up. So some really, really fun series coming up for us. I am super excited for our first one. Obviously, this is us, Fourth Wall versus K5. I've gone for K5. I've gone for our newcomers, our underdogs. You're very confident in Fourth Wall here, Aragon.
Yeah, I think I'm the only 3-0, right? Yeah. So the reasoning for this is because I think veterancy will be one of the biggest aspects and the most important things in this tournament, right? Your ability to dig deep and reach down into pocket picks when you're running out of champs, when you're pinched, when you're target banned, and you're also losing champions every single game. How much can you dig deeper and find? And I think players like Sleeping in the top side, for the side of Fourth Wall, who have a long history in the Prime League and so on, Cast as well, who has a history in the NLC, veterancy is what matters here.
I agree, but I also have this theory about like newer players having that solo queue champ pool, which is like the bizarre and the weird. You see so many players who come out fresh from solo queue into a competitive environment, and they have like these kind of like, I want to say unhinged champ pools, which are, not particularly meta, but a comfort for them. And typically those champ pools get countered just by whatever is meta and whatever can handle that in the meta at the moment. But when they can only play, meta mid laners one time each, maybe there are games where, a Sejuani mid lane might work. I mean, that's obviously not going to happen, but, there's a lot of room for kind of like, for veterancy to shine, but also this kind of new player, bizarre solo queue champ pool to shine. But we're into picks and bans. The Draven and the Karthus have been taken off the board already. So what are we actually expecting to see in this first game?
Okay, so I think we could see absolutely anything. Firstly, when it comes to drafts, we're definitely going to see a bunch of target bans, right? This has been a constant throughout the entire tournament. Players like Afresh and his Rengar, he's an incredible Rengar one-trick. Not one-trick, of course, otherwise he wouldn't have been in this tournament, but he plays a lot of it. There it is. Then you also have champions like Belveth for Cast. Cast, on the side of Fourth Wall, is a huge carry player. We saw him, I believe, on Unique, and they would play crazy stuff like Yasuo Diana, right? Yeah. So when are they going to pull that out when the champions get pinched? So I definitely do think we have a carry matchup in the jungle, and it's going to devolve into some craziness as the games go on.
I actually think target bans like Rengar rise in value the more that the more games that go by. Because you think about it, whatever gets picked in this game can't be picked next game, so there's no point banning it. So then you don't have to worry about banning it for the next game. So Rengar probably will just stay permabanned this entire series, which then is a weakness for these kind of like one-tier champions. But Belveth gets picked up in the jungle first pick there. I saw a little smirk on your face, Aragon.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason Cassis had Belveth permabanned against him, right? Usually every single game there's a bunch of different cast bans. But typically when you pair up Belveth, you want to match strong topside. So what they did historically previously in this tournament is they picked double AP topside with like a strong top laner for sleeping on that Kennen, I believe. So they had a mixed damage as well as priority to secure that Herald. Now on the flip side, when you play against Belveth, you want to draft disengage or range so that she has to gap close and get to you and be kited, and Poppy's a very good answer into that. Wukong historically was also a pick, but this is more likely going to be a jungle Poppy.
Yeah, probably going to be the case, but still flexible, still nice and pit viable. We do see the Kai'Sa, which is very high priority in the bot lane, getting picked up here for the side of K5. Obviously with the Rel band away, maybe looking towards something like a Nautilus as a kind of old school pairing for them on that front. The Orianna getting picked up here for Fourth Wall, so another kind of standard control mage from what we're used to seeing at the moment. We'll see what the last pick is going to be here for Fourth Wall. They're thinking about potentially going towards their ADC here. They may still look to try and flex into something else.
Yeah, you have a choice, right? When the enemy picks Kai'Sa, there's a lot of argument about if it's blindable or not. You have a choice. You can either bully in lane, something like the Kalista in a kill lane, right? Or you pick Ashe and heavily bully using range. And I think what they're leaning towards here, what they've leaned towards, is the Ashe, so that the AD carry pool doesn't get pinched. Let's see what they decide to match in the mid lane, though, with into the Orianna. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like the Syndra. That's typically the answer you're seeing at play-ins at Worlds. But yeah, I think that's the avenue they're going to go to. Or they pick away the support, because Nodu is a huge Thresh player. That's another champion that was often pinched.
Yeah, and I think they may see this as the one opportunity to pick this Thresh up, because like I said, as we go down the games and as we play more and more games, more and more champs get taken away from the pool naturally. So you then just get to target with your bans heavily on these kind of like, not one tricks, but the comfort picks for a lot of these players. So I think Nodal saw an opportunity to get his Thresh and make sure that he can use this to secure a powerful lane for him and Flops in the bot side. And now moving over to K5's ban phase, they're going to ban away the Heimerdinger here. Like you said, maybe a little bit more bullying potential getting picked up towards that bot lane with that support Heimer. We'll see what the game plan is going to be here for Fourth Wall, but maybe just going to be mid lane, mid pools, and just look to take away, like you said, the Syndra, these kind of more comfortable mid laners that can go toe to toe with the Orianna in this lane.
Yeah, I think you could also do a Nautilus down in the bot side for Fourth Wall. Good matchup into the Thresh in terms of the 3v3, as well as, giving you another champion to face check with. I think that's incredibly important. You want more than one beefy champion on this team. Now, more target bans coming in. This is what I'm talking about, right? They can just target ban Savictor, because he's only shown, I believe, 3 champions, or 4, like a few champions. I believe they're Aatrox, Ornn, Shen, and that's it, right? He doesn't play that many champions, and now they're taking away, I wouldn't be surprised to see an Ornn ban as well.
See what this final ban's going to be. Again, no mid lane pool bans though, so maybe they're quite happy to take just a comfortable mid lane. Oh. No, they take away the Jarvan. I think they're kind of expecting the likes of a Syndra, unless Wantage has a different mid laner in their up their sleeve and ready to go with it against this Orianna. I mean, Syndra's not like a done deal, but it's just like the comfortable mid lane at the moment for this matchup.
this is pretty weird, right? I just completely ruled out the fact that it could be top lane Poppy, because who on earth like blinds top lane Poppy? As isn't just a thing. I suppose they're on red side, so they hold that flex until, and that's why they're going to pick mid now. They're going to hold the Poppy flex. There are so many picks that you can pick that are blind and can do well into the Poppy as well. I'm thinking stuff like the Renekton, because we are, for anyone who doesn't know, we're not on the latest patch in solo queue. We are on the world's play-ins patch, right? So there are a lot of picks. You can go down the split push route. You can go down the Rumble route. I think Rumble's a phenomenal champion here. Any AP champ for the mixed damage too. Or the Blitzcrank. That's a good matchup.
It's an old fresh counter. It checks out, so they are going to pick that one up. Obviously, whenever Nodu stands still, he is susceptible to getting hooked. But as a fresh enthusiast, he should, understand some of the nuances of this matchup and see how this is going to go. As we're now looking towards that final pickup here for the side of Fourth Wall.
I think Kennen or Rumble would go really well here. Renekton as well. Then you run the risk of Tabai value, but I wouldn't actually like the Ornn here, because it is a soft counter pick that favors the Poppy, but it looks like... Is that locked in? If it is locked in. Then they just value... maybe he thinks, sleeping. The veteran he is, thinks it's going to be completely fine. It's only a soft counter, and we need that front line, which I do agree with. I think you can also get something similar, though, with the Rumble. Yeah,
I think they were putting their priority on having an actual tank. Although there could have been other tanks, like a Scion even, getting picked up if they really wanted it. And actually looks like it is going to be the Poppy in the jungle, because the Aatrox has been picked up here for Sir Victor. And that's going to be that top lane matchup. So it's a little better right now for the side of Sleeping. But it does kind of also shine a light on that a lot of those bans that were thrown out there by 4-4 somewhat wasted, because the Poppy had already been picked up and they'd put the attention on taking away a jungler and a top laner.
Yeah, so looking at both the compositions, right, zooming out and seeing what exactly they want to do, I do believe that Fourth Wall does have a pretty strong front-to-back team composition, right? They want a team fight, and they're incredibly good at that. I think Bel'Veth can have some shenanigans early if she wants an incredibly good invader. Then on the flip side, you have K5 with the Poppy, more agency in the early game, potential to look for more plays, and counterpick for Sir Victor on his comfort Aatrox. That's something else he plays. So there's one more thing, and towards the bot side, what we might see, when you have Thresh, you often want to stomp lane really, really hard, right? It's like the Renekton of bot lane. Got to drop a Renekton reference in there. Sorry, Hipfree. You want to win lane really hard, because a lot of other champs get more value as the game goes on. So I wouldn't be surprised to see lane ganks and just ganks in general down towards the bot side as well.
Well, at least one of us is going to get some priority on their champion. Mine's been gutted systematically over the last few patches.
Rip LeBlanc.
No, don't worry. Top lane Hullbreaker LeBlanc was the thing for a bit as well. But I actually didn't try that one. I'm sure you would have had a horrible time going toe-to-toe with that one. Anyway, keeping our attention more on this game. I think, like you said, very much keep our eyes on this early pick with the Poppy and see what they can make happen with that. Because you do worry that, as this game gets later and later, the power of the Orianna Shockwave just basically winning a fight if it lands onto the Kai'Sa. The power of the Bel'Veth as you scale into that late game as well is going to be really, really scary. And it's not like, K5 don't have scaling. They've got the likes of a Kai'Sa, which obviously does scale into that later portions of the game. But I do feel Fourth Wall, if they're able to sit back and get their ornaments, get Ornn nice and tanky, and just buy time for Bel'Veth and Ori to just one-shot people, it's going to be really hard for K5 to play this game one.
Yeah, just taking a look at Cass OPGG, really high win rate on Bel'Veth, almost 60%. He is a huge absolute win rate and very high elo. So this is why it's normally permaban alongside Kindred. The Karthus was target ban. Maybe they showed something in scrims or in games before. Just want to let everyone know that there is a pause at the moment. I'm not sure for what reason, but we'll get back into game as soon as we can.
Standard online broadcast stuff. That's what it is. It's always just, someone's internet being dodgy or computer playing up, whatever. But we should be getting into game fairly quick. These ones are always relatively quick and easy to resolve. Man, it's so weird being back on League. We had like months off. It feels so weird. I got to do a bit of EMEA. It just feels like a lifetime since I've cast any League of Legends. So it can be a learning experience for the pair of us, actually. Like you said,
I think
been
the
2
last
months.
The last time it was relegations, right? It was that's a solid while ago. And the strangest thing is the meta hasn't really changed, right? That's why I'm really grateful for these teams, because they clearly play like completely different stuff, right? You have your AD bruisers now. We have Bel'Veth. We have carry junglers being banned and Rengars and stuff like this. And I really want to see what do you think these champs are going to go down to? Like after this, some of these teams. Okay, so the interesting thing is fourth wall have shown a way bigger depth of champ pool. Okay, yeah. K5, there are multiple players who have repeated picks throughout the course of this tournament. Whereas fourth wall, there have only been 2 players, and they've only repeated a pick twice. Right? That's how deep big. Their champion pool. Yeah. So I'm really excited to see what happens and how this devolves. But Invade coming out for K5 now.
Yeah, don't really think too much is going to come off that, as MXA is able to see that coming and make a step back, and K5 now just going to head back over towards their red side and let's start there. Cast did plop a ward down in the area, so we'll see a Frush moving through that area, and Sweeper was on no-do, so no way that they're going to get spotted on that front as fourth wall. Sitting in the bush, maybe seeing if a delayed bad rotation comes through from the side of K5, but not going to be the case at all here. But it's very easy when there's not minions and you're in like the river or something with an Ashe Blitzcrank to set that hook up, because you get the slow from the volley, and then it's pretty much a done deal at that point. A good Blitzcrank should be able to land that hook. Yeah,
a lot of chase potential coming out for this, as it's pretty tense.
Is anything going to queue first?
Because the second you queue, you lose all your pressure, right? So there's a lot of tension here on whether or not they actually cast their spells. Just want to highlight, there's a lot of vision coming down for the side of fourth wall onto Afrush's Wraith camp, right? So they're going to know where he's pathing down towards, and in that case, they're going to know whether or not to counter gank down bot side as well, because that's where he's pathing down to. And my eyes are definitely on this bot side, because it's very important that Ashe gets to bully out this Kai'Sa. That's exactly that's the reason you pick it.
Yeah, right now, they're actually letting K5 control the lane state. They've lost the race to level 2, and they're just going to have to kind of play this a little bit more reserved for a bit. Wantage is having a pretty rough time versus Fade, though, in the mid lane. Fade is definitely controlling this at the moment, although the wave is in a less than perfect position for him, but it will slowly work its way back towards Fade. So he should be A-okay on that front. Still landing.
Lots of damage. No cookies coming out for Wantage, as well as the pings come down onto the location of Afrush. You can see Belvis actually skipping, or just doing, full clearing. Both junglers are just going to be full clearing, cycling their full clears as they make their wave down into the bot side. Now, fourth wall are going to try and hold this wave down here. The thing is, though, K5 do have a double range bot side, which is why they secure the push, right? If they can't walk up and hook, they get pushed in, and that's just the reality of it, which is why I want Belvis to spend more time around bot side here. Let's see what he does.
Yeah, well, he's going to get that full clear off, and he's obviously going to be a little bit quicker than the Poppy initially. There's Victor losing a little bit of HP, but it's an Aatrox. They're able to sustain back up once that Deathbringer stance cycles back up off the passive cooldown. Got to get a big chunk of HP back, and it's going to be a fight for this crab, is where I'm expecting to see any little skirmishes. And at the moment, the advantage is on K5 because their bot lane has the pressure, and Fade has actually slipped his control over mid lane, although Wantage doesn't really have any mana, so he might not be able to contest that one. It looks like Afrush quite happy to take this crab for free, and Cast is maybe setting up for something here in the bot lane.
Yeah, deciding to wait here for after the crab to see if there's any counter gank opportunity. Oh, no, dude.
That was nice little so nice.
But take a look at Afrush. He's running down. There's no ward there in that tri-bush, so he might actually be able to pull this off if Cast recalls.
Oh, Cast hasn't actually gone for the full redo. They get the flash. They get everything thrown down. That's going to be no-do losing a lot of HP, and he's ignited. He's down. First blood for Cast. Afrush realizes he's in danger, and he's making a sprint for it. Flashes away from the hook. And that is just going to be one for fourth wall, and nothing K5 can do about that.
Yeah, flashes forward, thinking potentially that Cast had recalled and gone for the topside Scuttle Crab is what I imagine they're thinking. Didn't expect him there at all. And they engage a bit too early. Afrush is a little bit too far away, considering that Cast was there. In the end, manages to fall. And this is his main, right? So losing out on lane phase in the main, on champion, that has to win.
Oh, really, really rough. Really, really rough. But top lane, sleeping, having quite a comfortable lane up here. Not really under any real problems at the moment. Cast, even after getting first blood, gets back and gets that crab. No problem for him on that front. Is actually going to go for a cheeky invade. Fade stops Wantage from getting all the recall off, and now Cast will find himself pulverized against the wall, losing quite a lot of HP. And because Wantage didn't get his recall off, he's in the area. He actually may have just entered his jungler. Cast has to flash away. Cast has no dashes left. He has no flash, no dash, nowhere to go. He's going to try and maybe go for an execute, but I just think it's going to be too hard for him to do it.
I think he can do it, I think it's done. 9 seconds.
No, there it is. Okay. Okay, Fade actually inted Cast there by stopping the recall on Wantage.
A classic. But still, really good job, you know, good job from Cast managing to find the time using that flash. Now, the thing is with Belveth, is if she does have a lead, which she does have now, it's fortunate that she didn't give over another lead to the Poppy, is that she's kind of, I like to describe her as a Master Yi who's actually decent, you know, and can snowball a lead. She has CC, but she's essentially a similar sort of hyper carry. Now, as time goes on, we're 2.5 minutes away from this Rift Herald. That's what matters. Because the second you get form on this Belveth, you get a bunch of different stats. You get move speed, attack speed, loads of different stuff that helps steroid you out and make you a dueling monster.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, looks like Wantage has to be a little careful. You can see that Afrosh was in the area as Grave passed. Can just control this wave and keep them pushed under. There is a MXE sitting in that bush, waiting for someone just to walk slightly too close to the wall, and they can find themselves hooked. Curious if there's much kill potential right now, because it's just Berserker's Greaves on the Ashe and no ultimate, so no real like hard lockdown. So I think it's more just posturing, and the idea that Blitz isn't there is scarier than seeing that Blitz was in that bush at all. They just didn't know exactly where he was.
Yeah, both junglers full clearing down to bot side, and mid lane does have the push for Wantage, so potentially he could move first as well. He didn't recall. The wave is pushing into the side of fourth wall now. If they can hold this, potentially they could set something up with Cass, which would then transition into the dragon. You see he's moving down here now. No sums for Nodu.
I think they want to get 6 onto Graves Pass. He's pretty close. Afrosh is in the area, but he's been seen on the vision where Cast just out of vision right now. He's going to try and step back so he doesn't get himself caught. The hook comes in. And now Nodu get the damage onto MXE. MXE low HP. Gets himself the knock-up, though. And that might be a lot of damage down onto Flops. He's able to get himself away. It's Afrosh. Low mana and on the run, but the slow does connect onto Flops. They get the vision. They get the slow. They get more damage, and that should just be the end of Flops. Cast can't land the damage. The flash forward, but they get the play. They find the knock-up. The hook doesn't quite connect. And fourth wall, unable to connect the damage they need to finish up Flops.
And Nodu this time manages to find the hook. I got so scared at one point because I saw Afrosh flash forward and shield buckler a minion. So I thought the damage wouldn't go down, but they managed to find MXE. They managed to do enough damage. And the play. Oh, hello. But now we're right into live and MXE in the mid lane. I think he should just get out now, right? He has flash. He's pretty chill.
Just going to lose a little bit of HP. Little bit excited. I don't think Fade was in the position to contest that, but at the end of the day, burning pots, I guess, is the little advantage that MXE was able to secure there for his team. While Graves passed in the bot lane, just collecting the remnants of the wave, which was kind of messed up by the gank a little bit, as Fade now rotating around with his jungler and his support to try and get control on the map. So to me, it looks like they're not interested in Dragon and more interested in securing this Rift Herald. Yep. Question is where do they want to unlock? I expect this to probably be Fade, actually, to see if they can just get him rotating and controlling the map.
Yeah, fourth wall a little bit hesitant. Thresh is now coming up. Nodu's on his way. Now, Wantage is leaning towards the Thresh. They want to make a play before this Herald. They don't just want an all-out flip. They want a kill and then move into it. So, Fade getting pushed in here means he's going to be a little late. Does look like, though, K5 are going to opt for a cross-map onto the jungle camps, that red buff included, as well as the Dragon, to give them this Herald, which is a fair trade for fourth wall. I think fourth wall do want this Rift Herald a lot. Let's see how they use it to plates and utilize that Belveth form.
Yeah, it looks like that is just going to be the game plan here. Afrosh is not even going for the Dragon, though. He's just going for the jungle. Going to take away a whole bunch of camps.
Yeah.
K5 very much aware of this. And honestly, once Flops gets control of this wave, they probably could just rotate towards the Dragon. So this could be a major loss here for Cast, losing a lot. Is going to get that Herald. Is going to get that Evolve form as well off that as well. We'll see what's going to come of it and what they can do with it. But right now, K5 putting attention on this bottom side of the lane. The difference this time is, though, Graves Pass does have his ultimate up and available, so it's somewhat harder. Lovely little ward just outside that Tri-Brush will spot anybody who rotates from behind.
Yeah, so in 30 seconds time, TP up for the Ornn, and it'll be a 10-minute unlock TP. With them pushed up this far, I'd like to see some vision drop down on the deep push. Maybe they could set up a potential flank TP. Does fourth wall want to contest this Dragon? Now, there are no sums for the Ashe. I really don't want to see it unless they can bring Sleeping down too.
Well, that's what Sleeping's thinking about it. He doesn't quite have his teleport up, so he's not really going to... He actually used his teleport to go top
back
lane.
to lane.
So yeah, he is not even remotely interested in contesting this.
It's just first Dragon.
It's fine on that front, but I think the problem is they also gave up 2 jungle camps for that Herald. So it's coming at quite a heavy cost here for Cast. He's actually pretty far behind in the CS department to Afrosh. So he has to be extra sure that he uses this Herald right. And right now, hovering around the mid lane, his bot lane have gone for a reset. So if he wants to plop it anytime soon, it's going to have to be in the mid lane. But I don't think he's even that interested in using it yet.
Yeah, control mages really need their mid-tier one, you know, to function, because they don't want to go to side lane. The second that mid-tier one goes down, they have to go side, and it's just, there's so much more gank susceptible, especially the Orianna. So when you're against a control mage, priority in heralding the mid lane turret goes up, and I'd like to see it drop down there, just like you're saying, Hiprain, or down in the bot side to give some gold onto the Ashe, because whilst that whole herald play was going down, the Ashe was actually frozen on, and she wasn't losing plates or anything, but she wasn't able to farm, and that put a dent in her economy. You could see down in bot side that difference in gold. The Umbral Glaive already completed for Floops compared to the boots and the half component.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty rough start there for Grace Past. Is going to just gather this wave up and play somewhat of a catch-up game, but unable to really find much. As Nodu just making sure that Floops is not going to find themselves caught out by the Blitzcrank hook. We are seeing in this top side a fight between Sleeping and Sir Victor. Sir Victor's actually popped the World Ender as well. He's chasing in, can't find the knockups with the Q. And Sleeping able to sustain and survive this one, but did have to burn that summoner spell most crucially.
Yeah, and now you can see, look down bot side as well. Like, Blitzcrank is moving upwards to find. I wonder if they're going to play mid into bot lane on the next slow push. You can see Ashe isn't immediately fast pushing. If she's going to slow push there and they play mid into bot, they find a pick and then bring Oreo down to bot side to crack that tower. The hook comes through.
That was
a little bit farther.
I think you thought it was playing Nautilus where the hook is just infinite.
A bit optimistic, I think. Still, it's just going to be a mid lane herald, right? So whilst Afresh tries to make a play up top side, you're against an Ornn, mate. You can't kill him. They're going to do a bunch of damage and secure some gold onto cast and fade.
Yeah, they got the fishies as well, just for a little bit more. Little more large wave. There's that's 3 plates actually lost in the mid lane. So next Rift Herald, Wantage is going to have to be very, very scared because the plates will be off, and that will just be the tower if another play like that happens. As Floops and Graves Pest just sitting less comfortably for Graves over Floops in this bottom lane, but supports rejoin the pair of them. It's just going to be a shove in here from Graves.
In the mid lane, he's been sitting around that top side for a long time trying to find something. And in the meantime, Cass is farming up a storm the entire time. Still, doesn't find anything now. He's going to go back to his raid, says. Grave Pass, that bush there is warded. So no lane gank potential for Cast. He seems to know it, and he's actually going to walk through the top river.
They get everything. That's the perfect hook. The knockup's on. The lantern to safety and the flash out by Nodu. He flashed to get the distance. Absolutely beautiful there from Nodu.
Yeah, the heal coming through, managing to secure that now. Do they go for a dive? Because Belveth has a really, really good dive with that damage reduction on the E. So are they comfortable with the wave they have, or are they going to back off? Let's see. Poppy's there.
They got the teleport out. I think they're going to be happy with that one. Casto finds himself whammed against the wall. In comes the rest of the team. Everything's connected. Cast, you're not going to survive this because on the hunt they jump. Cast gets the damage onto Flops, but Floops, sorry, able to get away.
And
there's 2 O's.
Play. Yeah.
There's 2 O's in his name, not 1.
Yeah, the play wasn't a flop. The Kaiser managed to secure a kill there, utilizing that spike of the Dirk and the Umbral Glaive. A really nice play. And every single play that they keep trying to make down bot side with that Belvet is getting answered. Outside of that first initial one, every single one where Cast has turned up bot has just been answered by that Poppy on Afresh, and they managed to use that hard engage on top of the Kaiser ult to bring him down. Now, looking forward, what is Cast going to do? Because are you going to give up this next dragon that's coming up in a minute's time? Are you going to cross-map topside? But then the problem is, you're cross-mapping with an Ornn, so what is your play? Maybe they invade up topside as well and stop for a Herald.
So here's a really interesting thing about the fact that because we're obviously playing on Fearless, this is the one Belveth game for Cast. If they lose this game, they have burnt their Belveth game on this, which is a scary thing to think about. Where this is meant to be your best champ, the champ which teams use a ban on because it's so scared, it's so scary, it's so feared. But honestly, they are just answering Cast every time he makes a play. Afresh is ready for it. And it's just always there to answer. Yeah, the Herald was nice in the mid lane, but they didn't get a kill. They just got a bunch of plates. And lovely answer to that gank. Just really, really good read and great counter gank coming in from Afresh. Able to line up that wallbang perfectly. Does look like, though, 4th wall are getting themselves geared up for this Rift Herald. We'll just be getting complete vision control of the area and spot out Floops in the distance.
This is a bit scary. This is a little bit scary. Great Pass hasn't completed an item yet compared to the nearly 2 items of the Kaiser. Now, a gank's coming in the mid lane. We've got that tempo gank. Maybe converting a dragon.
They're going to get the Ash arrow down, but it goes a little bit wide.
Ooh.
And Fade chunked out for just the Poppy ultimate is pretty big. Although Sir Victor did use his ult topside, so they're actually burning a little bit low on the old ult economy from the side of K5. But I think they've still got the health bar advantage that they can probably just look to take this dragon for free.
I think that's a blessing in disguise, honestly. Fourth wall, if they contested that, they'd be a significant item down. Their Ash is essentially useless at the moment. I don't know if the observers can toggle gold to see how much gold Ash is sitting on, because he should be able to complete the Kraken. Yeah, 1,084. I don't think they win this if they commit to a full 4v4.
They're still thinking about it. Floops is lining up with the W. They do get
maybe the hook lands.
teleport comes in. Two-man shockwave onto the backline from Fade. It's absolutely huge. Graves getting the damage onto Nodu, who's burning down to the ignite. The kill goes over. In comes the Ornhorn. Three-man knockup. Victor dashes away to safety. Cast is trying to keep the damage on as they flash forward. They get the hooks. They get the kills. And they get the dunk. Fourth wall take the fight and the dragon.
And they say item spikes be damned. It doesn't matter that we haven't completed our item on AD carry. We're just going to land Luden's Echo Shockwave onto 3 people and win the fight immediately off of that. Now, I do think it was a bit interesting from K5. They need to land engaged so that Kai'Sa can dive backline, so that the Aatrox and the Azir can dive backline. But they didn't manage to find it. They just got hooked, and that's a big problem they have. They need someone to tank the hook, but they've got nobody.
Oh, Flukes able to just about avoid on that, but yeah, on healthy damage still. It's only been like, what, 3 years now? But sure, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's just Sunfire Cape, isn't it? On top of the Brittle, it's pretty nasty. Full armor, Sunfire Cape, Bramble. What do you do as an AD carry now? He's pushing down in the spot side. It's going to be a free Demolish proc as the Aatrox is late to lane.
Yeah, it looks like K5 are looking to gatekeep the Herald, knowing that this Herald is going to be pretty important overall. Zafrush needs to be careful. MXC has the hook. There is a blast cone though, so it does make life a little bit harder. They are looking for it.
Oh no.
They're able to find the connection. They get the blast cone. They get everything down, but he taxis over using cast with the dash. There's a lantern for him to jump to. The hook goes wide. Really well played there.
Was that a misclick from Cast? Taking the honey, the blast cone over and then giving the Poppy an exit because she could just E-cast. I don't know what just happened there, but I think it might be a misplay by Cast or a misclick on the blast cone to go over. Still, they are chunked now. Poppy is chunked, so maybe this converts into a Rift Herald. No TPs for top lane.
The difference this time is Vantage does have that ultimate up and available. They've got the pincer maneuver coming in as well. Hook on cooldown, and that is the moment for fourth wall to run away. Orianna speeds them all up, and they're out of there. They do not want anything to do with that one. Flukes. 2 items in on this Kai'Sa as well. Very scary. Herald does get a brief reset, also somewhat of a tempo disadvantage, but the tower has gone down in the mid lane, and Herald's only half HP here. Hook again goes a little bit wide. Cast is trying to jump in, but a couple of players have been knocked back. Ornhorn coming down. Afrush finds himself knocked up. Cast putting the damage in. There's the shuffle onto multiple members. Noju gets the flying back onto multiple members as well, but Flukes doesn't have the damage. Fourth wall just annihilated the health bars at K5, and it's an ace.
And sleeping in the middle of that fight right before it walked up from base, giving up all these minions, being incredibly selfless, and throws the Ornhorn from all the way from that tier 2 in the mid lane, managing to secure that win. Now, this is a really big problem I think K5 are having. Nobody can tank the Blitz hook. Anyone who gets hooked just dies, so there's so much pressure that they just cannot play, and they just walk up with numbers advantages to secure the Herald fight.
That was, yes, so clean there coming in from the side of fourth wall. It honestly looked like a bad fight for them because they missed quite a lot and then they get free-manned by Vantage, but it's just like the damage evaporates immediately and K5 just can't actually stick any real hurt into the fourth wall members. And fourth wall, now that the Kraken Slayer's finished, now that it's Luden's double needless large rod on the Orianna, they just have so much damage right now. It's a very scary time to be fighting, especially when Fade's got 2 points in that shockwave. It's going to absolutely cut through these health bars of the squishier members of K5.
Yeah, it does feel like Sir Victor didn't realize that Sleeping had recalled and was going to walk over to the Rift Herald as well, so he needed to do that too to match if they wanted to contest. Now, that was a big problem. Let's see if he keeps contesting. TP will be up for the side of K5 as well as Sleeping, so we could see a play down bot side potentially. Yeah,
I think he may just have to accept that this tower is going to be going down, or if not low. Does decide to make his way over and protect it, but he lost a couple of minions there. It lost quite a lot of HP because that was a relatively large wave as Cast looking for Vantage, but going to be a little hard because of the Shurima tower coming in. Nodu with a lovely little flay to stop himself from getting locked down, but there is the lockdown. There goes Nodu. He's taken down. That's a kill for Cast, and honestly, Baron very rightly could be on the cards.
Yeah, really nice arrow from that round the corner where Autopath takes you. Grave Past, honestly, I just want to take a second to shout him out. He's been so consistent, not falling, being incredibly patient when he's frozen on because his team's making plays onto the Herald. He's been an incredible weak side gamer, and I'm really, really impressed. Now, Sir Victor, the stride break into the W.
Oh, he's lost so much HP. The hook goes a little bit wide. Cast actually doesn't get much on the W off there. And suddenly, Sir Victor's actually found himself a turnaround. Cast realizing
the wave.
That was a little bit scary. But like you said, the wave was there. The tower goes down, and Cast did his job. He didn't get the kill, but he got the tower kill for his team off that.
Yeah, K5, they seem a little indecisive. Do they want to test or not as the engage comes down?
Oh no, Sleeping! He fumbled it a little bit. They get themselves a knock up, and the Sleeping loses so much HP. One last shot is all they're going to need. Floops goes invisible to the Duskblade, and it looks like K5 able to find that one pick onto that front line. This could very well be their opportunity to get themselves ahead in the Dragons as the hook from MXE just brushes Vantage, but not close enough to get the damage down. Herald gets summoned up, and Forful, they're not done. They've got that Shockwave, and the health bars, while full, are still very squishy if a Shockwave can connect, but they're just going to give that Dragon up.
Yeah, unfortunate mechanics on the Ornn combo, trying to get the brittle knockup into the... As I say that, a quick play onto the Thresh.
Huge there. They do get Nodu, but you can see that they're not done yet. Shockwave just goes a little bit wide onto Sir Victor. And it looks like K5 going to have to take the long way round to try and protect this tower. But
we're not stopping.
So low. They want to keep pushing forwards here. Don't know if they really have the ability to contest any further. Cast a little bit too low. I don't really think they're going to look for Baron. Just a couple of camps and make their way out.
Yeah, Ornament's coming through now as well. As Engage comes out on the mid lane, nothing should happen. Sleeping should be able to just walk away. Now I want fourth wall. Oh no, fourth wall. MXE, what are you doing?
There's no shockwave. That could have been huge, but MXE has to flash away over the wall. Misses the hook. Probably a saving grace for him because he probably would have died for that. But Sir Victor losing a lot of HP. Pops the ultimate. Comes in with the World Ender. Can't quite find that knockup, but he's slowed down by Graves Pass. And now he is going solo. Sleeping secures the kill. Cast rejoins the fight full HP. Oh my word.
What is happening? That engage was so weird by Sir Victor. And then the prior engage from Sleeping was also incredibly weird. Both top laners showing the true skill of the average top. Still, Sleeping is continuing to trade. This man is so tanky.
Whoa. Afrosh losing a lot of HP here. Does have the lantern though, so he feels pretty comfortable. No interrupt coming in. Afrosh out. Yeah, on is on so good.
On is on.
He's so good. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, no significant lead coming out, and I think this is a problem because you allocated draft resources to Sir Victor to come out on top in this lane phase, and he's just come out 0-2-0 with no significant advantage in terms of plates either, or CS. So, was this really your best play? Was this your go-to counterpick versus tanks? Now it's gone. Fearless draft. What are you going to do when he picks another tank? Do you not have any more counterpicks? So many questions. I'm so excited to see future drafts.
I'm really excited to see.
Yeah,
this is the best bit, right? Like, we don't have to go, oh, we have to think about banning the Azir this game or the Orianna.
Yeah,
it's done.
gone.
It's done. It makes picks and bans so much more exciting. I was thinking this earlier. I was kind of like, man, I actually kind of wish like more League was on was played this way. Because it gives us so much variety and it shows so much skill in size of picks. But speaking of big picks, Sir Victor, low HP. He's outie. The lantern comes in. Oh no, there's a goat. There's a goat coming for you. The hook is hit and he gets a massive heal coming in. But oh no, that has left a very low Floops. Nodu gets hooked in, makes the hero sacrifice. Graves Pass has been left on his lonesome though. He's being run down by everybody. Nowhere to go. He's down. Cast jumps in. Cast finds the knockup. Cast gets a reset onto one and now he's going to continue the chase. They don't quite make the hook connect. That was messy on both sides, man.
Yeah, a potential overreach coming out from Sleeping again onto the top side, trying to find it with the Ornal, but the damage is not quite there to finish off Floops. Now Cast could be looking to be a little bit cheeky here onto Afrosh.
Yeah, he's looking for Afrosh. Afrosh pretty tanky damage versus him, but actually, hold on, this is starting to ramp up here coming in from him. W'd a little bit too early, so he gets himself interrupted. That was starting to look like quite a lot of damage, so Cast is getting there.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the power of the Poppy, right? They anticipated the Belveth in the draft and said, you know, I prep Poppy into you can't dash near me, and then you can't kill me. So I was really scared at the start of that prior play. You know, a single chunk or a single kill in the top side can convert immediately into a dragon. Fortunately, Sir Victor gets a huge heal, like 450 off of a single Gore Trigger proccing a heal, and he survives and manages to just get out like that. Still, that fight's over now. We got to look towards the future. Topside could be an objective that they look for as a DC comes out, and I hope that's visual.
I'm pretty sure that's a visual one from earlier. Don't worry about it. I mean, so right now, we're at, what, a 6,000 gold lead. Dragon's in favor of K5, though. They have got that one extra dragon, and slowly but surely, you're starting to see, you know, the damage coming online on both sides. Like, Floops' damage is no joke anymore.
3 items.
He's 3 items. He's starting to ramp up. Got a little bit of AP thanks to Nash's Tooth as well. So it's kind of getting towards the upgrading both the W and the E, which is a really big upgrade for the invisibility on that. When you've got Duskblade and your invisibility on E, Floops is just going to be, missing most fights. He's just going to pop up, find a kill, or get, like, a takedown, and then just disappear again. So it's going to be very hard to kind of pin him in place. And other than you know, I guess Ornn, there's not really, or I guess Ashe as well. There's not really like much solid lockdown onto him.
It's so difficult for K5 right now because no one can face check to secure vision around the upcoming dragon, right? You could see that's reflected into what they're doing, their mentality. They're saying, you know, we can't contest this. We have to go through mid or potentially threaten the Baron instead. Even though it's going to be our third Drake, we just can't face check. This is a Blitzcrank.
Oh, well. That's the Ashe arrow down, but it's on a relatively short cooldown. Poppy was burnt, but again, didn't go for the full cast, didn't channel it off, so it's actually going to be on a relatively short cooldown itself. So, honestly, not too much really burnt there. Baron is getting started. They don't have their Kai'Sa, though, who's going to be probably the best person to burn this Baron down. Is going to move in time. Wantage is also now here over the wall. So, Baron goes very quickly to K5, but they don't have that Poppy ult. No. I say they don't. They do, but they don't find the hit. There's going to be the damage. In comes Wantage, but it might be a little bit too little. It might be a little bit too late, but no. They're finding the shutdowns. They're finding the kills. Fade, low HP. Floops keeping the damage up onto one, and down they go. They lose the dragon, but they absolutely wipe 4-Fall off, and they go back to Baron.
They've got no Baron. Sorry, they've got no smite. Yeah, exactly. The jungle is dead. Afresh is dead on this Poppy. There could be a steal here. They need Wantage to potentially zone out cast.
He's come in.
Wait, he's in too early.
He went in way too early. He does have one other W if he aims it right. There's no way.
They don't want to do it anymore.
Don't coin flip this.
Wait, hello?
K5? K5? There's no way! What?
Why?
What did I just watch? Cast! He's gonna even get himself a kill on the way out! K5! What the hell was that?
Why would you finish that in his face? Did you think he had no smite from securing the dragon, potentially? But I have no idea what that was. Still, a big blunder coming out from K5.
I actually don't think I've ever seen a play like that in professional. That was... Yeah, Rule number 1, if you don't have a jungler and the enemy team has a jungler, don't do Baron. Like, just don't.
I think, or at the very least, have someone go zone, right? Have Wantage, rather, go zone the cast, because you do shred him.
I thought it was going to be like a turn and burn. Like, they were carrying it on to bait him into the pit, and then they were going to turn and kill him. But then I think they just felt like Floops' proc would do more damage than smite. That has to be their thought process. It didn't. And it's also not as easy to secure as smite. You kind of have to perfectly time it. When smite, you can just press a button when the health bar aligns with the number across atop your bar. Ugh.
Well, whatever the thought process was, big blunder and a huge potentially game-losing play coming out from the side of K5. Now, how do they use the Baron? MXC does have the Baron, so they could barrel down for this tier 2.
Yeah, looks like they're going for it. Afresh in the bush. He's going to find himself knocked up. He's going to get the shockwave onto 2. There's the Ashe arrow, but lovely lantern in to safety. They find themselves a knock onto a couple of members. They do actually find 1 kill in response. Afresh is being a complete nightmare for Cast, but Cast, not going to matter. They get the knockback on the multiple members, and K5 have absolutely floundered this game. Down they go. Aced off the board. Triple kill for Cast with Baron. That's got to be game.
That's an absolute tragedy, because it was an actual decent engage coming out from Sir Victor as well. Now, I think there have been some core problems. I think it's not wrong to look forward into the future games, but at least the Blitzcrank is down now, because a big problem they had is they just have no one to face check. You have a Divine Sunder and Poppy, who for a very long time was just one-shotable as well. Thresh, it's reflected in his skull. Right, he can't walk anywhere without being hooked. Aatrox is the exact same thing. I think that's been their biggest issue, and that's why they had to do the Baron in the first place.
Oh man, that was honestly I'm seeing a lot of potential here in K5. It's just there's definitely a lot of issues, but you know, this is their first performance on this main broadcast with us, so excited to see more from them. But man, this series honestly looks like it's got some serious potential, because I don't think I don't think K5 are going to throw a game like a Baron play like that again. I think they've learned their mistake. And honestly, they're still going toe-to-toe. Considering the gold lead right now, considering how far behind they've been for a vast majority of the game, some of these fights have been pretty close. And actually, some of the fights have even been K5 favored.
Yeah, and I think they still can be, right? It isn't Dragon's Soul yet either for the side of fourth wall. You have time. You have 2 more Dragons time before you really have to contest. You can potentially play for that Rabadons on the Azir before the next Drake too. He does have those 2 needlessly, right? And Floops, like you keep highlighting, is not weak, right? No. He's incredibly strong. He's got 4 items now. He's ahead of the Ashe, arguably, because his items are cheaper. Maybe if they find some kind of pick when they aren't the ones being hooked or engaged onto, they can find something. And that's exactly what they're trying to do now with his vision. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, again, kind of going back to the points we were talking about, like, Kai'Sa's very strong at the moment, and, like, this is their one Kai'Sa game. They do not want to be losing now in game 1, so something you always got to kind of keep in mind is, you know, every time you pick a champ, that is the one time it's going to get played for you in this entire series, so you got to make it work.
Yeah, absolutely rough when you've got arguably one of the best, if not the best AD carries alongside Xayah, and then also your one trick down on the bot side on the Thresh, maybe not one trick, that's harsh, but your main, and you aren't able to carry the game. That's incredibly rough. Now, everything's coming down to this fight. It does seem like K5 want to contest this dragon.
Yeah,
how do they get there?
I mean, they're going to struggle to walk into it as they do find the hook onto one Shockwave. Ashe Arrow goes a little bit wide, but it does actually make its connection. So Victor's getting healing up, though, so he's going to be okay. Hook goes wide from Nodu. They are able to just about limp their way out. Floops doesn't hit the W, so he doesn't get the reset on it. Dragon's going to get started up. This isn't Soul, it's just Soul Point. And I just don't think they've got the ability to fight for it. They're going to try and make their way in time, but the Ornhorn comes down. They find the knock up under Sleeping. Sleeping, low HP. He is absolutely guaranteed to be shut down here. As over the wall, Afrosh flashes in, and Floops just joins straight into the fight. Onto Grace Pass. Nodu gets the flay back. They pull the lantern down, and Grace Pass finds himself a kill. He's doing some serious damage with a double there. Floops is low HP. So Victor keeping the damage up. W connects onto Fade, but they don't have the follow-up. Victor gets a little bit more damage. This W goes wide. He can't quite find it, and Fade outplays Sir Victor so well there. Although the base is in shambles, I thought that Floops was going to look for the kill, but I think he's going to have to reset.
Yeah. No, he has to defend. They've got these huge waves they have to defend. You're coming in bot side with those super minions, and top side they're going to lose that, potentially lose that tower too. Now, loads of damage coming in and Cash with those wiggly autos, but still, Grave Pass is my shout out for MVP, by the way. He has been so damn consistent. Yes, everyone else looks more flashy. You got Fade with those massive multi-man ultimates, but he's been so consistent and keeps them in the game at that Lost Drake fight.
I mean, his movement in that fight was absolutely beautiful. Right? Also, that Ashe Arrow, even though it missed Sir Victor, it hit the better target in Vantage right behind him, so then Vantage couldn't follow up on Sir Victor engaging into that fight. Just really, really well played coming in from him. And, you know, like you're saying, yeah, Floops has actually got more items, but he has got that ornament, so it's somewhat negating the item lead over. And again, remember, like you're saying as well, Ashe's items are way more expensive, so the fact he's keeping up relatively at that sense is pretty big. And now he's going to get onto the Baron, got the Kraken Slayer, he's got the attack speed. This is just liquefied. And unless Afrosh can get in with the Hex Flash, he's going to look for it. Can he get the steal? He failed!
Wait, take it!
He failed!
No, I think he chose not to. Oh, come on, man. You could have taken that. Maybe he was scared that they would lose the game if he died there, and they wouldn't be worth it. It was a choice for sure. Still, I would have taken it, man. Maybe Baron minions couldn't have defended. Still, now the siege coming in for fourth wall.
Yeah, it's going to be hard because you've got the Baron up fishies as well coming in. They're going to try and get some damage off of that W, but Floops, there's just too many minions. And here comes the Ornhorn, here comes the Ashe Arrow. All the targets they need have been locked down. Floops remains stunned. He's only just finished the stun at this point, and he's lost the tower. He's lost the teammate in that time. K5, first game of this series, is about to go real bad for them. As down goes the towers, down goes the base. Afrosh is trying his hardest to save the day. The lantern comes out as a sad sign of faith. Trying to find the hook, and Nodu, he's down. Nexus is next up follow. 28 kills on the map as well. Huge game there for fourth wall.
And you can't help but feel frustrated for that Baron. That single Baron where they decide to do it without a jungler, and you're just questioning why. Right? Why? You could just wait and maybe play the next one, or at least go zone it. Have someone mark that Belveth still. Close game. Close game.
There were a lot of mistakes. I think mistakes were made on both sides. I have to say
Yeah.
that I think K5 made the bigger mistake in doing the Baron with no jungler. I'm sure they're very much aware of that though at this point. So
Yeah, of course.
it's going to be very much a matter of kind of going into this next game again. All right, we understand about that. Like, you know that's a mistake, so you don't have to even say let's not do that again. I think what they need to look at is you know, the game plan for the next game, because you know, while elements of that draft were working, normally in this case I'd be like, honestly, keep the Fresh, keep the Kai'Sa. They weren't bad. I mean, like,
Yeah.
Floops was actually really solid, but they're Gonzo. So maybe it's their turn to pick up the Ashe. I'm not 100% sold on the Blitzcrank because, like you were saying, it's very hard to kind of face check. So, I don't know. I'd be very interested in what Game 2 is going to look like. Anyway, we'll ramble a little bit more about that. But before that, it's time for a quick break, and then we're back with game number 2. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Aurora Cup. We're getting ready to go into our second game of the day. K5 have remained on the red side going into this second game, and interesting now because 10 champions have been removed from the pool, 5 either side, so technically we could have the exact same match just mirrored, but I don't expect that to be the case. I am very interested, Aragon, what you think is going to be showing up now.
So I think there are a lot of implications, right? When champions can't be picked by a team, then I feel like for the other team, champion priority rises up, right? So if Poppy can't be picked by the enemy team, then maybe champions with dashes who are countered by Poppy can be picked more because the enemy team can't pick Poppy anymore. So I'm thinking stuff like Jarvan, stuff like Rakan, stuff like Rel maybe go up in priority for fourth wall, right? Flip side, the exact same concept, you know, Sleeping might not have a tank anymore because Ornn is the only one he's shown. You know, maybe we'll have a carry match up top lane. I'm so excited, dude. I feel like anything can happen, but that's my immediate thought.
There's so much that could go on. I want to get in a champ select and just see, you know, what the game plan is. But I guess, you know, moving back from the champions, we probably need to kind of just talk about K5 as a team. They lost that game. They made some mistakes. I guess the question is, you know, those mistakes weren't champion mistakes. That was sometimes just decision mistakes. So we'll see what they decide to go for. You can see, for anyone who is wanting to keep up with what has been banned away from the players, at the top of the screens, you can see each team, their last drafts. That last draft is unplayable to them. So they can't, on the side of Forfall, no Orianna, no Ashe, no Blitzcrank, all of that's taken away. And like I said, things like this Rengar, expectations are this is just going to be a permaban because every time Aphros uses part of his pull up, the Rengar remains unpicked, but then you don't have to worry about banning away the Poppy this time. It's been banned away, but the Jarvan is going to get picked up here for Forfall.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm saying, right? You can't pick Poppy into this now. So you just have a Jarvan, which has a lot less punishability. Now, I think when you draft Jarvan, you're also thinking about the pairings, right? The combos. You've got the ball delivery, you know, the Orianna, very famous. You also have the Rumble that rises in priority, and we know Sleeping plays pretty much everything. So what picks come out in prime? That is not what I expected to see. Okay, I'm gonna give it to you. It is a flex pick. Jungle Gwen did get buffed, I believe, in like 13.18, or maybe I'm a bit off of there, but still, recently did get buffed. Maybe it's a flex pick here that they're holding off. Still, I don't really like it as a blind in top lane or in the jungle.
No. I'll be very interested to see if they do decide to lock this in. They are still... oh, no, they have locked it in. They are just now thinking about what they're going to pick up next. Going for the Ezreal here for Floops. Honestly, of everyone on K5, I think Floops was the person I was really impressed with and most impressed with. He got a very significant lead over Graves Pass, played very well as well with that, and even with the gold leads being down, he was a major part of how some of those fights did look very close. His counterpart, Graves Pass, also did play amazingly well himself, so, you know, it's yin and yang in that sense. We'll see, though, what the game plan is going to be here for Forfall. They could just go Zyra Khan here. I actually think that's solid. I mean, you're not going to get one or the other any other time, so quick lock into the Lovers duo. Really solid first rotation here for Forfall, though. Zyra Khan, Jarvan. Nice. I like it.
Kai'Sa a little bit for Forfall, but it's okay because you drafted a really heavy dive composition. Potentially that could have worked. Still, they decide not to go for it. And Kai'Sa's also good into Xayah. Still, Xayah Rakan, beautiful duo. They've got nothing to counter. I was going to say Talia rises up in priority as well for the side of K5, but then you have very heavy AP. So instead, what they're going to opt for is they're going to draft a counter to the Rakan in terms of 3v3 and just a counter in general. You can lock Rakan very, very easily and come mid game too.
Curious what they're going to be looking to pick up here then as their game plan. Obviously, bans away. You could ban away the Azir here if you're the side of K5 because Forfall can play that Azir. We could just see a handshake of those mid laners, but I expect this to be a mid lane centric ban phase. Just try and deny Fade as good of a blind pick as they possibly can, or as good of a counter pick as they possibly can. The Ahri is going to get denied here. We talked a lot about it, but Syndra, more and more of these games that go by will be even more and more high priority for these players as everything else kind of gets eaten up and is already pretty good at the moment. But they do decide to take away the Shen. So again, like you said, not sold on this Gwen being top. It could go in that jungle.
Yeah, so a little bit of a problem I have with the Nautilus is it doesn't really fit the theme of the draft, right? You have lots of kite back, and I guess you have front to back with Gwen a little bit, right? But with the Ezreal, you like to kite backwards, and Nautilus usually just gets eaten up for breakfast when he gets CC'd, and he's like the only frontliner, so Gwen's going to have to put in a bit of work there too. Now, lots of champs rise up in priority. What do you R for, right? Do you pick a mid laner? Because you probably want to keep, there it is, the Syndra or the Orianna. I would have potentially considered taking away the Orianna as well to deny the ball delivery system, but decided to go up for Syndra instead, and we'll see what fourth wall want to pick. I think the Orianna would be really good here.
Yeah, I feel like it would be pretty solid at this point. I mean, they can't go for the Orianna because it's taken away, is the problem.
Okay.
So, actually, just leaning...
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
the Ori's gone.
Yeah.
Ah.
Fearless, baby, fearless. This is actually weirdly what we were talking about at the beginning of the day, where you have like you basically look at like a Yone or like a Yasuo in the mid and then pick like Zyra Khan bot lane.
Yeah.
So you kind of have an insurance policy and a very solid bot lane, but that is a scary all-in team. Like in team fights, this team will absolutely blow through the opponents. Like MXE can just charm up most of the team, followed up with a Yone, Rumble, Jarvan. Like, it's just all of that damage layered on top. It's going to be such a big wombo combo. The question is can K5 dissuade it? They've got Syndra, they've got the Nautilus, they've got the Ornn. They have tools to actually stop this engage going down, because if 4-4 hit that wombo combo, the fight is just lost there.
Yeah, it absolutely is a case of kite back versus very, very hard engage with the side of the Rumble, the Jarvan, and the Rakan, all of this to follow up. Now, in terms of the composition and what I think will happen in the early game, it definitely will be a case of shadowing the Yone and making sure he doesn't get ganked by Nautilus and making sure he can survive the lane phase 2. He abuses Doran's shield, second win, and that's how he survives control main matchups, get to his 2-item spike, and then he can win team fights. Now, you also have the bot side and who you can play forwards as well as soon as you turn level 3. And then in the top side, you just have a farm fest as usual, with Rumble usually coming out on top in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited to see how this game goes down, though. I feel, we saw a lot of promise from K5, especially from Floops. I think, honestly, Vantage also had a pretty good game. He got bullied early by Fade in lane. But he's still finding multiple really good flank shuffles. The problem is his team was just so far behind. It'd shuffle a Fed team into his team and they'd just kill them. But this time it feels like he's versus the Yone, and pre Yone getting all of his spells up, Syndra can just bully the Yone pretty heavily in this lane and kind of take control of it. So I want to see what Vantage can really do here now when he's the one who should at least have the early pressure in the lane, and what that's going to look like in the game.
Yeah, when it comes to champions like Gwen, because I feel like we haven't touched on her, despite her being a little bit wacky, AP jungler, you just want to cycle your camp. She's just going to full clear on full clear on full clear and scale up like a menace she is. That's what she is. She's a stat stick in team fight. She likes to play front to back, and be a menace with that immune. And she will cycle those camps over and over again. So I don't actually expect too much action in the early game unless it's from the side of 4-4.
Yeah, I agree. I think 4-4 are probably going to want to be playing this game pretty quick, though. I feel while they've got options for scaling, you can't write out the fact that they're scaling on that team. The expectation from me is that they're just going to, use the Jarvan's early gank power, try and enable the team, try and snowball this game, because they snowballed that last game. This time, they have, even better tools once they're ahead to just really push and control everything, because we saw multiple times, they get control of River, then K5 would walk into 4-4, and then 4-4 would just mow them down in the fight. And I feel this time it's more snap engage, it's more power. Yes, there's disengage tools available to K5, but I worry if 4-4 get ahead that this might just be a 2-0.
Yeah, I definitely do think there's more life in the fourth wall draft. I think K5 is a little bit passive, right? You have an Ezreal down in bot lane he's all right, to play through early game, and you have a Nautilus, I suppose, but you just have no skirmishing potential from the Gwen. So this is definitely something they cooked up to be a little bit of a slower game. Now, Cast, gonna look for some vision early game, potentially drop a ward, doesn't actually drop anything. Maybe they'll burn a sweeper later on to look for that. Still, just gonna opt to full clear, probably down to bot side to match the Gwen.
Yeah, looks like for now, Sleeping just gonna get a little bit of a toast onto Sir Victor, but Sir Victor gives in the pillar. But like you said, first strike's a bit of dosh in his pocket off that one. Everybody just getting a little bit of poking and prodding done on one another as MXC eating a couple of Ezreal Qs.
Yeah,
and it's just to the lane as normal.
Yeah, I think definitely the dynamic we have as this game goes on is the peel back and making sure to keep yourself outranged with this Ezreal and the Syndra. And that way, if you manage to hold the range line, you do outrange them, right? The Zaya's notorious weakness is being outranged, and Ezreal does counter in that regard. So it will be on K5 to maintain the amount of space and maintain the disengage so that fourth wall can't get on the backline carries.
Oh, lovely little trade there from Fade, using the W for the shield, and actually gets that next Q off as well. Once you hit that level 3 on the Yone, trading like that is just so nasty, because you just trade on your turn.
Sleeping?
Sleeping. Again, actually getting early chunked out here by Sir Victor. Lands the harpoon for the slow, but he gets slowed up by the pillar. Can he make the escape? The flash, the W, Sleeping's out! And the tower shot onto Sir Victor. Oh, that was close.
Flash is burned. I don't think it'll matter too much. The wave state is a lot nicer for Sir Victor, though, right? Sleeping's going to have to burn TP to get back. I imagine both top laners will, to make sure, for example, for Sir Victor to hold that phrase and for Rumble to actually catch the wave, because it is pushing out. Now, you see down bot side, Cass has actually skipped his bot side camps. Maybe he can find something here.
Yeah, needs to spot out where Afrosh is. He actually doesn't see Afrosh. Puts down the flag. Doesn't put it in the bush, though. Is Afrosh
no flag and drag.
Looking to jump in here. He's going to give him the old snip, snip. Cast has the flash. Goes over the wall. Nodu hooks the wrong thing, but Cast getting a little bit too over-eager. And now they're actually looking to come back in onto Afrosh. Afrosh just has to jump away. He cannot go for this at all.
Yeah, trying to use that slow stack down on the bot side on that crash on the third wave to potentially invade. Now, Floops and Nodu, can they move in and help out Afrosh? Fade is first.
Fade has the power to go for this one. The smite needs to land. They're going to jump in onto Afrosh just to zone him away. Smite comes down. Blue buff secured. Floops. He has the E, so he will be able to get over the wall, but he finds himself rooted. He's flagged. He's dragged. First blood to
disaster.
Nodu, you're next up. As he is super low. W shield comes in the nick of time. Floops just playing a little bit too close to the sun with that E.
And that's what I mean, right? This is what I said by the lifeless draft of K5. It's so weak early. You have an insane scaling mage in the mid lane. Yes, you can bully a little bit, but primarily you want to be scaling with those stacks on the Syndra. Then you have an Ezreal down bot side and a Gwen jungle. Gwen jungle doesn't do anything early, so natural invade. Really good call from Cast and the side of Fourthwall.
Yeah, a bit of a... honestly, I think they should have just taken the L there and lost the blue buff.
Sure.
But they, you know, again, it's these little mistakes that we have been seeing out of K5, which unfortunately have cost them pretty heavily in some of these little fights in exchanges. And Fade now at this point, honestly feeling pretty comfortable. Vantage's mana bar, sorry, a little bit low. Fade can just do this, jump forward, trade on his terms, ping back to safety.
God, I hate that champ. That champ is obnoxious.
He is honestly the most ridiculous champion in the game. Just Yasuo on easy mode. Anyway, enough complaining from us. Sir Victor is getting barbecued, and he doesn't realize, but actually it's him on the menu.
Sleeping!
No, sleeping! Cooked alive! Cast does get the slowdown. Like you said, no flash, but Afrosh is coming in. Can he save the day? No. Cast secures the kill.
Good job, Sir Victor, for actually managing to pull off the 1v2 there. Really nice to turn around a dire situation, because his wave was really messed up. That freeze was being held by Sleeping, and something had to happen. I was hoping Afrosh maybe would skip a camp to run on over and be there for the counter gank. Still, you know, to maybe potentially help Crash. Now, Cast, what's going to happen? What are the ramifications? Maybe he gets invaded here. Fade has the push. He can move before the Syndra.
It's like Chicken's just going to get a little haircut. Nice to see a little knockup coming in. They do find themselves a hook, actually. Nodu gets locked down. They get so many damage onto the feathers. Nodu's low HP. Graves doesn't have the flash, so they can't commit for the kill. But this bot lane is going real rough right now for the side of K5. They are struggling.
Ooh. Look at that HP bar on Nodu. He needs a reset. Fortunately, no one's moving down. That's a dive waiting to happen if they decide to on that slow stack. Still, Afrosh might be here to bail them out.
They're looking to come in. Graves Pass needs to be careful. Doesn't have that
flash,
remember. Has got the heal for a bit of movement speed and to keep those health bars topped up as Afrosh jumps in.
Dead?
He's just finding himself in danger. That bonus stat's doing nothing. And now Lodu, as he is so low, finds a nice hook, but that was just for his demise. Double kill for Graves Pass.
Oh, it's just a gap, isn't it? Bot lane is winning. Wantage is trying to maybe find something with that level 6. He does have ultimate. Maybe you can find Grave Pass with no flash.
Oh, there's a heal.
No.
Unlucky.
Time invested as well. Now he's going to miss some farm for that, trying to make a commiseration play happen. Floops does have the E, so he won't be caught out here. But now you can imagine that Cast could full clear down into a dragon.
Yeah, Cast is this is the game as a jungler where you're really happy because most of your lanes are just winning. You're just playing on autopilot. As Wantage finds himself in danger. He has the ultimate if he wants to commit onto him. Cast is in the area, but Fade getting a chunk out, just testing the waters. Turns out those waters are easy to walk over because Wantage lost so much HP. Oh, he doesn't have ult, to be fair. That's why he didn't commit.
Also, I thought Sleeping on that Rumble might run down because he could just pull up an ultimate Syndra. That's something I wanted to talk about. This Syndra is going to be so susceptible to a Jarvan ulting on her. followed up by the Rumble ult, right? And she's going to be trapped on top of it. Whereas an Ezreal and a Gwen, they could be immune to it or dash out. So in the mid-game team fights, a little concerned for Vantage as he might just be dead here, you know?
He's able to break away, but Fade jumps in with a flash and he finds the kill. Absolutely disgusting.
Oh, no.
That little Rumble combo, by the way, I like to call that the hot pot.
The hot pot, the Jarvan Rumble combo.
Yeah, you put all the ingredients in the bowl and then Rumble cooks them.
Do you have a nickname for all the Jarvan combos?
Not all of them, but I have a few of them. Mixing bowl is Oriana Jarvan.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, you get them in the mixing bowl.
Any others? You got me hyped on these.
Oh, God. Think of one, and I might have a name for it. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I just know mixing bowl and hot pot. Oh, that's a two-man knock-up, actually. They're going to get some damage onto Flukes. Not going to find the follow-up, but he actually comes in with a hook, and Nodu using a lot of HP there. MXE will be able to heal back up with that Gleaming Quill.
Yeah, Lovers Duo coming down with a huge burst from their combos. Hugely spell-dependent champs managed to land everything and burst out the enemy. Now that chunk could translate into a dragon and an ultimate in the mid lane.
No flash.
Vantage.
Oh, he's done so. In he goes, knocked up, and he is just going to get himself cooked down. Beautiful there. Fade able to get the kill.
Oh, it's just so hard to play, isn't it? Every single bounce back from this Yone is just being held as a freeze, and Vantage has to walk up into no man's land versus a Rakan potentially roaming and a Jarvan ult. Now, that kill is going to convert into a Rift Herald, rather, and there's nothing they could do. This Reptile's going to go down and potentially knock away that mid turret, and then Syndra is going to have to overextend the farm. It's a pretty similar story to Game 1, where Vantage is really uncomfortable.
Yeah, Vantage unable to do much of here. So getting the damage down, but there's the equalizer placed pretty badly. We'll clear out the wave at least. Sleeping.
Dead.
He is gonzo. We'll try and get a bit more damage into Savictor. Luckily, that awkwardly placed ultimate did clear out most of the wave, so no real threat of his tower losing too much HP off that.
Yeah. Plates down in the bot side as well. That tower's on 3 plates. They potentially play mid into bot here as... Ooh, you see this happen sometimes, right? So this is some nice bit of tech the fourth wall did. You bait the enemy in with the Xayah, and then you abuse a Rakan who's standing in fog of war to dash from a million miles away because the range is increased, and then you engage like that. They tried to do that there with Rakan shattering in the fog. Doesn't quite work out, but I imagine you can do that mid lane and get some better results. Now, I want to see them play mid into bot side with this Rift Herald, especially with this poke onto the bot side. You can potentially set up a dive and get the full tower.
Alrighty, well, keep our eyes on what the game plan will be for now. Having a quick look at Cast. He's actually looking to move over for K5. Maybe looking for a dive here. You got your 2 chickens in the area, so they might be able to find some engages. He's actually just being a nuisance for poor Afrush, but has revealed himself. The problem is
they have to shadow.
Flukes and Nodu are such low HP. Cataclysm's about to come up. They will see him in the area. Ornn TPing in. They're going to try and see if they can go for this, but here comes the Yone. Herald's been summoned on the flank. They are surrounded, and K5, they're going to have to make the best of this situation. MXC lands the Gleaming Quill, so he gets the heal. Ornn, no TP. It hasn't come in. The Cataclysm's up. They're pinned in place.
It's too late.
Everything's there. Their fate is sealed. And down they go. Vantage TPing in a little bit too late.
Oh, it was Vantage. I didn't even call out the Vantage TP because it wasn't up until very late, so I didn't even think that Vantage would bother. It had to be Savictor. Savictor had to walk down and potentially TP, and then Syndra had to walk up and defend top lane. I think that was probably the better play there. Still, unfortunate. 2 plates coming out, and it's a really solid play for fourth wall.
Yeah, absolutely amazing coming in from fourth wall there. 11 minutes on the clock. Gold lead very comfortably in favor of fourth wall as well at this point. Double Kraken Slayer picked up onto both Fade and Graves Pass. You got the Gale, not the Gale Force, the Gore Drinker onto Cast. Gale Force would be a problematic build for Jarvan. And then you got the Abyssal Mask. Not the Abyssal Mask. Demonic Embrace. Wow, that was weird brain fart there. Demonic Embrace picked up onto Sleeping. So items coming in across the board, but K5... Not a single person has finished an item yet. Oh, no, I say that Savictor has just finished an item.
Yep, and Savictor... those are some scary carries. I'm not going to lie. The 3-0 Kraken Slayers on both the Yone and the Xayah compared to the Sheen, in the Half-Bound Axe for the Ezreal. They have got to have time to ramp up now. They're on the back foot. Look at top side, though. Look at top. Yeah,
they're looking to jump in onto Sleeping.
No, not again, Sleeping.
He just throws the ult down, clears the wave, and K5 can't get anything off that. They have their Herald. They got to deal with the wave. Honestly, Sleeping, realizing that he's on weak side and just playing to clear out any of those towers that wave before he loses too many plates, and he'll just walk back up. He may give up 1 or 2 plates here, but Graves Pass gets tower with plates, dragon for his team as well.
Yeah.
Sleeping's doing his job.
Nice try from K5, cross-mapping onto topside, but in the end, you're only cross-mapping onto an Ornn, you know? And yeah, I guess that's the only play they can make, in fairness. They managed to find it, but they need more time. The amount of snowballs getting out of control for the side of fourth wall, they need to potentially look for the next Rift Herald or something whilst fourth wall go for this dragon, and maybe get some plates from the top side onto the Ezreal.
Well, I was a bit late for that because the rotate is coming in.
Oh,
and
no.
It actually looks like K5 have not read that play at all. They were looking to grab these waves in the bot side. And now there's just going to be more plates over to Graves Pass because he's going up now to top side with a Kraken Slayer, a BF sword, a long sword. Weirdly, Sleeping is there. I feel like Sleeping should have rotated to the bottom side of the map. I don't know if he got the memo. That or he just wants to dive. Victor. Yeah, he might just want to look for it. As Vantage gets chunked out heavily. The Fate Sealed was burnt there by Fade, and yeah, this is why Sleeping stayed. He's after revenge after getting camped. As Cast is actually just going to block anybody from getting close.
He has no flag and drag.
He has himself the Cataclysm to dodge some of this damage though. As Fade's looking to come in and try and get some damage back onto Afrush, gets some damage down, finds himself the knockup, chases forwards and finds the kill. Sleeping cooks a kill alive himself. They didn't even need to go for the top lane dive. They just walk over the bot side in the mid lane.
Cast getting a little bit caught there, EQing into a bush in enemy territory and getting punished for it. Now, no headbutt for Ornn. I imagine this won't convert into a dive, so Victor should be just way too tanky, but still. Nice pick onto the Jarvan, identifying that he doesn't have an EQ anymore, and managing to convert that into a kill. Now, top side. So, Victor, that's the only way you die, mate.
Yeah, that was... Okay, luckily, he was able to dodge the E there from Graves Pass, because that was a real mistake, but he traded a lot of HP for that. Yeah. And just took a Kraken auto on the way out as well. So, massive mistake coming in from Sir Victor. He's going to have to reset now. He has bought time for Afrush and Nodu to come and hopefully defend the wave. Floop, is also en route, but doesn't have the True Shot Barrage to clear the wave out. And it looks like they might be looking for a little something on to the side of 4-4. Fade has teleport, though, and it is unlocked, so... That's a fed Yone who could show up in the nick of time. If they're going to force everything out, they're going to look for the knock-up onto him as well. MXE able to buy himself the space. There's the Featherstorm to get himself out as in comes Fade to try and save the day. No ultimate available, just ease forward. Nodu losing a lot of HP. I say a lot, I mean all of his HP. Down he goes.
Yeah, good call out there with the teleports being up and Fade managing to join the fight as well. You could see why K5 wanted to fight that. They want to buy time, and they identified this is when they're the closest in terms of strength. They have 1 item compared to 1.5 completed. Still, it's not enough, right? They tried to go on the Xayah, but you're diving on a Xayah. This is why this pick is so strong here. And Gwen can't get onto it, connect any damage. Now Sleeping, he's just being such a pain, right? Managing to land poke every single time. And Cast, they might have just picked out Sir Victor here.
Yeah, Sir Victor's in some serious danger. They have the Equalizer up. There's the Cataclysm. Time for the
Equalizer.
And into the Fate Sealed. 2 members cooked. Oh, that was delicious.
Man, and that's just going to be another Herald, which will probably be used to secure another Dragon. And the game's just falling out of control for the side of K5.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This is snowballed. This is... there's nothing more to say about it, right? Like, it's a 9,000 gold lead at 16 minutes. They've got both the Heralds. They've got the only Dragon of the game. This is just a very snowballed game right now. And
look down bot, though.
Poor old Cast. I say poor old Cast. He just has kind of been Cataclysm bot, and his team have just, like, won out around the map for him.
Yeah, it must be nice to play jungle as Cast right now. Sleeping, probably the only lane you could argue was struggling against that jungle attention and maybe in the 1v1 a little bit. So Victor trying his best to get a lead. But yeah, you look at that Yone, you just think everything that you hate about Yone is encapsulated right there. Now that nice dodge. Flops might be in trouble.
Yeah, I think that might just be Nodu who's in danger though. As Flops, no Fate Sealed available to Fade, so Flops, he was able to E away. There was no more follow-up. And yeah, Nodu, it's a bit of a rough game too for him. 0-5 on the board, having a very, very rough time.
And this is why a lot of people had Nautilus as the most deaths in play-ins for their pick'ems. This champion, if you are just behind, you end up going 0-20. This champ, every single time he gets picked, he's not actually that tanky compared to something like a Braum. He will just die. And versus that hard engage, he's just pick city, isn't he? Now, next Dragon's coming up. They're probably going to place Herald in the mid lane to secure that priority and convert that to the Dragon to side 4-4. So Victor, you okay, mate?
No. That was the saddest Rammus thumbs up I've ever seen, man. He was not okay. Oh, tragedy.
Oh gosh. Okay, where's that Rift Herald gonna go? Is it gonna be bot or top mid? Yeah, the tower is worth more gold. Let's see if they secure it. There it is.
Yeah, there it is. They want to make sure they get this tower down. Inject even more gold into Graves Passes.
And the root.
So Victor, that was so much HP. He just lost so much HP, man.
Yeah, that's
They're going to play a hip tower. They got the wave, yeah.
They can just keep going, yeah. So Victor's in base. Maybe he can look for... He has no teleport, so he's going to have to waddle.
There it is. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's going to be Dragon as well. I mean, like... It's hard to break down a game like this because the team who wanted to snowball have just snowballed, right? Like,
yeah.
I've done your job for you there, Aragon.
Thank you.
Oh, no.
I mean, that's flash gone. Now Fade could get run down here. That's a big shot down.
He's going to have to flash himself. That was...
He's going to flash the hook.
No way. No. He tried to re-engage onto flops. Like Floops wasn't going to get away from that one, but they just throw everything down and cook.
They're going to 4v5?
He used all his movement. Yes, they're going to 4v5. Wantage on the run as he flashes over the knock-up. Graves Pass finds himself caught out, though. There's a bit of healing. There's a bit of sustainability. He's able to stay alive.
Oh, he's alive?
A little bit longer. No way. So Victor did not sink the damage in, and they trade out 2 for 1. Fade might have been feeling himself a little bit too much for that play, but his team, they tidied up for him.
Yeah, having a little bit too much fun when they're making plays down in the bot side with their Rift Herald and getting cross-map on is not the way to go. That shutdown's massive. It did go on the Gwen, and fortunately not for Floops, who we've seen is a good player on these carries, and he's still 0-1, so... Let's see what Afresh can do with it. Maybe he can convert this into the next dragon. You know, a potential fight. He does have the Nashers. Maybe he's got his Pro to belt soon.
Maybe he has. 19 minutes on the clock. That is 2.5 items on both Fade and Graves Pass.
Oh, don't say it.
Zonya's now onto sleeping. To just the Triforce and the Ludens on to the side of Floops and Wantage. And the worst thing is Floops hasn't even got his boots upgraded. Like, at least Wantage has the pen boots, but man... It is just your magical footwear as well.
They have a lot of damage, right? What they could potentially do here in terms of macros. Fourth wall could keep mid and top pushed, keep the vision around top side, then slowly choke them out in terms of vision, and eventually grab a Baron. Just sneak it. You have so much DPS. You have the Rumble with percentage health and Demonic Visage. You also have Demonic Embrace, rather. You also have the Yone with full crit, and it's extremely accelerated. And that's what they're going to do. They're immediately going to start it up.
Yeah, it looks like MXE just going to be gatekeeping it.
Oh, it's gone.
Baron is just absolutely obliterated. There is no room to even contest this, and the rest of the team is just going to come over the board. Expect that hot pot once again. Not this time, because the Victor gets himself caught out, and they're going to keep the chase up. The fate is sealed onto Afresh, but luckily for him, Fade's pulled back. There's the hot pot. There's the cook, as they are one after the other fallen down, mixing the ingredients perfectly for a victory there. Fourth wall, absolutely smashed down K5.
And that is why Baron has 5,000 more health on live, right? Because stuff like that can't happen anymore, and they don't want that to happen because it's obscene. That Baron died in a second. And then following that, the engage from Cast, you know, is just splendid, right? You can only imagine that it's only a matter of time now for K5.
I'm not going to lie. I actually think even if 5,000 more health on Baron wouldn't have stopped that Baron from going down that much
maybe
quicker.
not.
They were melting through that. They double Kraken Slayer, man. And the burn of the...
Demonic
Rumble.
Embrace.
Yeah, pretty brutal, pretty brutal. But down go all the towers outside the base is 4-4, mopping up this last one. So Victor, you do not want to be there, my dude. You are going to be cut down quicker than Baron, as he is super low. Grace Pass not going to overcommit, rightfully so, and make his way out.
Oh, this is a slaughter, isn't it? Game 1 was a lot closer than this. You can only wonder, like, did they have less practice on the Gwen flex, for example? This is something they prepared for Game 2, because I imagine they prepared drafts, right? So... it's just not going as well, and I think that the ultimate problem is they have nothing to bridge to late game with. Each one of their laners is so incredibly scaling dependent, including their jungler. This is why in drafts where you draft scaling, you often have a lane you can play through, like throw in like a Renekton top side, or something early game through the mid lane, or the bot lane, like a Caitlyn, or something like this to bridge that scaling. But they just don't have it.
No, unfortunately, they do not. Very, very rough, and. You know, this is also just kind of 4-4 recognizing their team comp and playing it well, and kind of what you were saying, just experience as well. Like, this is a team who recognized their like their champ pools and were just able to build a really nice draft of it. I mean, yeah, I mean, they're just ahead, right? I don't know. I don't know what more to say. They're just really fed. Afrosh has also been found, so he can't be here to defend his base. Meanwhile, Fade, he just fades away while the mid lane inhibitor explodes. No way that there can be any defense on that one. This Baron push is just starting to amount a little bit too big here for the side of K5. I think this game too going to be over pretty quickly here. Cast does have the Cataclysm available, but Floop's still having E, meaning it's probably not overly worth it. They are going to be looking for it. They find themselves a knock-up, grab onto hook. They do get some damage in. There's going to be the hot pot. There's going to be the combination. Floop's goes a little bit low. Fate sealed up and available to Fade. He's going to connect it. No, just misses. Floop's low HP, but no do. He is down do. As, oh, the flash Q from Fade onto the backline. Wantage goes down as well. And fourth wall, 24 kills, over a kill a minute. Make game 2 look unbelievably easy.
And the 23-minute win. It must have been faster than the last one as well. And in the last fight, your entire lead on Afrosh just gets barbecued by the Rumble. Yeah, completely one-shot. What is there to do? You just lost in every single lane. It's really rough, and you can only imagine the mental bounce back that they need to make.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's a hard one to come back from, especially when you're using up those champ pool. And you still got things like the Ashe is still available to the side of fourth wall. It was K5 who picks that in the first game. So it's really, you're at this point where you're now 10 champs deep. You know that the Rengar's going to be banned. There's no way that Afrosh is going to get his hands onto that. So you're now looking at effectively 15 champs being removed going into the next game when you factor in the bans. What can you play? I'm absolutely loving Fearless because it makes like, as you get deeper into the series, the team who have the wider champ pool, they really start to stand out. They really start to shine. And right now, fourth wall really flexing, you know, their champ pool already. That Yone from Fade was really clean, clean.
I think that they do have deep enough pools. Like, they have a lot of champions they still haven't touched yet. For example, on the top side, you have your Shen and your Aatrox. The only problem now,
bad, right?
Do you pinch the last 2 picks the enemy top laner has shown? We'll have to see, won't we?
I mean, the Shen's been perma-banned from the side. The Shen and the Rengar, 2 consistent bans coming through. Anyway, we're going to throw ourselves to a quick break, and then we're back with game number 3. See you in a moment. Hello everybody and welcome back to the NLC Aurora Cup. Right now we have ourselves 4-2-0 up in the series over K5, and K5 definitely struggling after that second game. Game 1 looked quite competitive, looked close even with the gold lead, but game 2 very one-sided, very decisive. We have swap sides though. Fourth wall are going to be on that red side, and so far they've banned Rengar, Draven, Kog'Maw and Shen every game. I kind of expect more of that in this one.
Yeah, and now you got to wonder, is this just a, you know what guys, let's mix it up. We lost 2 games in a row. Let's mix it up, you know, let's go blue side and see what we can first pick. What power pick can we secure? We're still going to see, however, a bunch of target bans. All of these picks are not meta. Every single one is a target ban, and you can imagine it's because pools are slowly being pinched, so these bans carry even more weight. Now, I wonder if Kog'Maw's still going to be banned. I imagine fourth wall will do that one too.
Alrighty, well, last ban coming in. A lot of jungle attention coming in on the side of K5. I'm just quickly looking at previous bans. Just heavily banning out Cast, making sure Cast can't enable and snowball the game. Most likely just going to be a Kog'Maw ban as the final ban from 4-4, unless they want to ban away that Jarvan themselves and then look just to kind of have something ready for the Kog'Maw. I mean, it looks like the answer is no. They're just going to pick up that as their last ban, and their rel's been left open, so there it is.
So what do you decide to go for if you are Cast? You could go into the power farming route whilst Rel tries to make plays across the map. You still have your Udyr. That's something you could do. If you decide to go Maokai Jace, that'd be incredibly meta, but that wouldn't be Cast, so I'm not expecting it. Diana is another pick they've shown. They've shown Diana Yasuo, but you kind of want to see the enemy carries first. If they're immobile, you know, any mobile mid laner that you can continuously punish. That's locked in though, so Maokai rises up in priority when you have the Jace, unless you are looking to flex it.
Alrighty, well, see what they're going to look to ban or pick up. Yeah?
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, Poppy hasn't been picked, right? Poppy hasn't been picked for that side, because you have to keep track of both teams. Yeah, so Poppy would also be incredibly good as a flex. Talia, too, into that rel. I thought it was the other way around because they swapped sides.
Yes, it's because they swapped sides. That's fair. They could look towards that. Instead, they're going for the Udyr. Yep, going to pick up someone who can kind of farm and mega farm in this game. And K5 looking to maybe go towards something a little bit more spicy. I mean, the jungle pools have been heavily trimmed, not only from themselves, but also from their bans. So maybe looking towards something that can look to enable stuff. Obviously, the problem with this, if you do lock in the Nocturne, is kind of needs level 6 to actually be relevant, and then needs that first ult to go really well, otherwise you're in trouble. But do look to go towards that one. They haven't picked the Orianna up. It was Fourth Wall who picked the Orianna up, and that's a very nice Ori comp. You've got the Nautilus to turn the lights out, and then you have the Rel to deliver the ball in with the Magnet Storm, and you got the Magnetic Wave, basically, if it comes out. It's really nasty combo between those two.
So, Wantich has actually shown Nico, and Nico Nocturne is a really nutty combo that's used a lot, but they're going to decide actually to opt for the Orianna Nocturne. I wonder if this game, they've practiced the way where you make it so Nocturne can actually ult out of Orianna's typical range. There's a really weird interaction that I won't get into. I wonder if they've learned about that. Still, Alistar going to be locked in, and I really like this pick. When you see Rel on the enemy team, Alistar becomes priority, because you can always just punt Rel out of it, and he's very good when you're trying to disengage, and that's exactly what a Jace wants. He wants to play at range and have a bunch of disengage from the Nocturne. Now, what do K5 want? K5 in the second rotation want to draft more dives, so you've got to think about what dive can you get from top lane as well as down in the bot lane. Now, the best diving AD carry is Kai'Sa, and that's gone. Right, because we have Fearless Draft, Kai'Sa is gone. What else do you have? Potentially Kalista? Maybe you can dash in with a Zeri. And Xayah can do it okay as well. Those are my best bets, but Xayah would struggle against the poke. So I think Zeri is your best bet if they are confident enough to pull that out.
Alrighty, well, last ban coming in. Last time they did ban away the Zed as an option, but obviously with the Orianna already picked up, be a bit of a waste of a ban on that one. Banning the Ashe away. They were the ones that played the Ashe. That was a brain fart moment. I was like, wait, they've already picked Ashe. No, it's the other team. So they banning that Ashe away. We'll now be looking towards what ADC they're going to go for. But final ban coming in from K5. I actually don't expect them to ban an AD. Okay, they do. They ban the Varus. I was a bit worried that banning an ADC really trims the pool massively. You've already got, you know, a bunch of ADCs taken off the board just from the fact we're on Fearless, along with what we've just seen those two coming out of the, well, 4 actually out of the picks and bans. ADC pool very trimmed at this point. Looks like it might just be an Ezreal angle here for Grace Pass.
More poke and more disengage versus the hard engage composition of K5. We definitely have a dynamic here where you have hard engage versus disengage. Now, Vayne is good into Ezreal, right? Decent lane phase and scales very well versus a bunch of tanks. I wonder if this get locked in, or they're going to lock a more dive-orientated champion. I think it's locked in, right?
Yeah, that is locked in. They are now looking towards their last pick, which would be most likely their top laner, unless we see some very bizarre shenanigans going down. Looking for a frontliner, picking up that Scion for themselves off the back of that, and now over to fourth wall. Right now, what I do see with fourth wall is like Alistair is basically your only engage, and then it's a lot of poke. So they're probably going to be looking to play at range. So it'll be interesting to see what they go for. They go for the Gwen, because when you're playing a poke team, it's also quite good just to have someone who can go in a side lane and be a nuisance over there. Because you either group up into the poke and lose lots of HP, or you go send multiple people to go deal with the likes of a Gwen. So actually a fairly well-rounded draft here from fourth wall.
I really like the Gwen as well for another reason, and that is she loves it when people come into her. And you have a Nocturne flying at it, you have a Rel, you have a huge tanky Scion to go into her snipping, right? And that just gives us so much value. Incredible anti-tank, anti-engage champion, which synergizes so well with the Alistair and the Ezreal. Really just well-rounded. Despite having all these champions locked out, they've managed to find a cohesive draft. Now, K5 have a huge engage composition. It's going to be on them to find these engages with the Nocturne, and I'm looking at mid-game skirmishing for both teams.
Yeah, I think this might be quite scrappy. Definitely from K5 side as well. They've got lots of tools to start and engage fights. Fourth wall, definitely going to be spiky, especially when that Ezreal hits that second item. Obviously, Jace spikes really hard on the third item. Be probably looking to kind of take off from there. I'm curious what the game plan is going to be, though, from the side of fourth wall. Are they going to look to just say, look, normally we play this comp way slower, but they may feel comfortable just to kind of hands check versus K5 and to say, we know we're better at this point, because honestly, they have just gapped the hell out of K5, and especially in that second game.
Yeah, I think a definite weakness they have where you can't out hands a weakness like that is the bot lane early levels, right? You have Alistair, Ezreal. That might be one of the weakest early game bot lanes in the game. So you do have bot lane prior for the side of K5, and maybe they can find an invade or something onto the enemy jungler like that and disrupt their clear. I think that's probably an avenue we could see early game. Other than that, though, it definitely is a more scaling early game, with Rift Herald and ultimates being the priority.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably just going to be the game plan. Well, we'll have to find out as the champions have been trimmed out massively. Obviously, fourth will want to win this to the 3-0. K5 obviously want to win this to stay in the whole tournament, but the problem you have is as you get later and later into this best of 5, it just gets more and more scary, man, because like the pools just get slimmer and slimmer. It becomes easier to ban out the target bans, because things like Rengar, you know, in a normal series can be a bit of a waste, but this time, like every time, more and more junglers get used up, the Rengar becomes more viable, but then just impossible to play because it's going to be permabanned.
Yeah, I think they saw Nodu jump over the wall. They tried to do the tech like with Rakan, where you wait for your cooldowns again and then flank someone who's overextending in the river. Not going to manage to do that. Now, to see where the junglers are going to start and clear, but I imagine that they really should look to disrupt this Udyr's clear. Look at K5, they're so aggressive down in the bot side, they don't want to leash. Nocturne might do 3 camps into the bot side invade, that's potentially want to see. Or if he's more, conservative and he just plays for his level 6 full clear, that's an option too. Now, wards have been dropped down though. They know where Nocturne's going to start if he starts on this blue buff.
Well, for now, just pretty standard start actually. I expect this to probably just be a It's going to, like you said, it's a mid-game where this game's going to really kind of explode. So that's where we'll probably expect to see all of the action in this game. Other than that, it's just going to be onto maybe some early shenanigans from these junglers to maybe set some stuff up as... There it is. As you said, Alistair, Ezreal.
Incredibly
NPC level 1.
Yeah, Alistair with that headbutt only really has a play if he can flash knock up with multiple people around. Still not going to be the best. Now, a slow push coming out from K5. What can they do with this? There's going to be no invade. Maybe there's dive potential if they can get some good trades down. But again, diving in of Alistair, it's a bit challenging. So maybe I'm grasping at straws. I don't think there's probably going to play. You also have mid pushed in, so probably just going to be cycling full clears for both junglers.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be the case here. Cast just finishing up the walls for themselves. Able to pick that one up nice and easy. Afresh also finishing up the walls, so both junglers pretty much unmatched with their speed of their clears. Cast a little bit ahead, but a little bit lower in HP. But also, it's a Udyr, so Udyr just sustains pretty well. So don't expect really too much to be going on. Maybe the top lane has been an interesting one because So Victor has actually probably been the one person who's been able to like hand check their lane opponent and win every little early fight we've seen. Like, so Victor's beaten out Sleeping every kind of like level 1 to 5 fight we've seen top lane in the last 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with Sleeping is that I believe he's coming off of a break, right? So he used to be an incredible top laner, right? I'm not saying he isn't now, but I even used to watch him to learn champions like Akali back in my day. I don't know why I worded it like that. I made it sound like I'm 80 years old. But I used to watch him to learn Akali and Aurelia because he would play all these really skillful champions, right? He was so damn good at them. But then he took a break from competitive. Back in the day, he used to play in the Prime League, and I believe he went to EMA Masters a bunch of times. Having a little bit of a rough one this series, but maybe that's just a testament to how good Savicta is.
Yeah, it's going to lose a lot of HP there to Savicta. Savicta able to run him down, but he wasn't ready for cast. The ghost has been used. It was a bait all along. Sleeping, getting the damage in. Snip, snip, first blood to Savicta. But cast answers out. That is twice, 2 games in a row where Sleeping has been able to 1v2 versus get 1v2'd where Savicta pulls it off.
That was beautiful. What Savicta flashed there was the snip, right? I think it was like a 2-stack snip, but he flashed and reacted to it. He managed to get out and dodge out on the damage, and just in time managed to get the empowered Q. Really, really nice stuff coming out from Savicta.
Really, really impressive stuff actually there. Did see what started to be a pretty good fight there for Fourth Wall. Actually ended out a little bit rotten for them, but they do have the biscuits on Gray's Pass, so he has that extra sustain where Flops does not. And MXE looking to see if he can set up an engage onto the pair of them, but looks like K5 are going to just retreat underneath their tower to safety, get away from any of the danger from Fourth Wall.
Yeah, so you can see that down in bot side. A lot of vision down in the red side jungle. That's what they use the priority for in the early game versus the Alistair and the Ezreal.
Oh, this is a dive.
Yeah, you're right. This is a big slow stack. Nodu and Floops, they're chunked. This could be really bad.
Heal comes in, pulverized. Floops in danger. They do find a kill onto MXE. He taxis himself out and actually gets Nodu to safety. Ooh. 1 for 1, but that's a kill onto the ADC, losing a wave, and now Sleeping. Just doing, well, sleeping. Just sleeping this game.
Yeah, getting ganked and dying a lot on the weak side. It's not a great look, unfortunately. But down in that bot side, really, really good identification that there could be a dive there on that slow push. Diving down on the chunk. Yes, they turn around and make it a 1 for 1. But still, that was a huge wave that Floops lost. Great play from Fourth Wall and from Cast and the entirety of the bot side for calling that out. Now, Freeze.
No,
Nodu's dead. Nodu?
What? He tried to hold the wave. Okay, well, that's a fed Ezreal.
Huh.
Huh.
I think they're chatting. I can hear the chatting sound effect. The text box. It's either that or pings. I'm pretty sure they were typing like XDs or something on that dead trying to hold that freeze. I love it.
That is, yeah, that's a yikes for me, dog. That's a real yikes.
Okay. Oh, gosh.
It happens. It happens to the best of us. Sometimes the damage of a champion does catch you out. You're like, I can eat 1 more Q and auto and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then that was a moment where the Q hit and
yeah, I respect it.
The baseline started playing and he realized he was in trouble.
Still, let's take a look at the timer, right? It's 6 minutes. These next 2 minutes are incredibly important. Junglers typically hit level 6 around 7 to 8 minutes. So ults are almost up. That is a Nocturne waiting to happen. I can't wait to see what happens to this next Rift Herald. Dragon going to be secured for K5 now. Not the biggest of deals, it's just the first dragon. But that means there will be no dragon to cross map, and everyone will have to contest this Rift Herald.
Yeah, that probably will be the game plan. Although, honestly, right now, Fourth Wall, now that the Ezreal is, has kind of survived that earlier stage of the game and is now just a complete menace. Oh, lovely condemn, lovely
clean.
Stun.
But he's dead.
Actually, MXE's just gonzo at this point, but Fourth Wall bringing in the cavalry. Nodu actually stepped forwards here, and in comes Cast. Fade also making his way forward. They've got the acceleration gate. They've got the lockdown if they need it, as Nodu's taken out by Fade. Now they find the stun onto Afrush. In he comes with to the skies, and Fade missing the Q onto Floops. Floops getting some damage off onto Cast, but he is in some serious danger as Grey Pass feels comfortable to take this trade with him, chunking him out heavily underneath the tower. We'll just try and weave in the odd Q onto Floops and poke him low.
Surprised they didn't go for a dive here. Maybe they're scared of Orianna. They could have kept 3 people and looked for a dive onto Floops. He was only level 5. Cast was decently healthy, and so was the Jace. Still, regardless. You remember back in the day, you used to have the honorable opponent thing that you could give the enemy.
Yes.
I wish we could give, MVP's only for the winners. I wish we could give Floops the honorable opponent thing, because he has been so clean every single game despite being on the losing side. Same with Victor, honestly, but that condemn was nuts.
I don't know why they removed honorable opponent. I liked that.
It was so nice, wasn't it?
It was very nice, just being like, you were good, sir. You bested me on this day on the Rift.
Like, true, honestly.
It was a true gentleman's honor. Like, when you got an honorable opponent award, like that wasn't someone just giving it to you for like being like, gonna farm some honor. That was like, someone was like, they actually respected you.
Yeah, there was no reward for that, right? Like nowadays, where if you honor, you get more honor yourself. It was actually you played well.
Yeah,
you can have this.
It was like you were either humble in victory, and I like that because no one is in this game, or it was it was just like you're a really good player, and I have to respect that.
Sion?
Yep, choo-choo train coming in. Under the tower he goes. I guess he got some damage onto the tower.
I mean, it's not a bad time to go look for that. They're clearly trying to find some kind of cross map whilst Rift Herald is up. They decide they can't fight it, because of the 3-0 Udyr. Now, instead, what they're going to do is play with a Sion ult damage as well as a Demolish proc on this tower and play for plates onto Floops. I don't hate it. Floops has been the carry of the team.
I'm surprised the True Shot Barrage didn't come out to trim the wave, but
yeah, that's true.
That was a bit of an interesting one. I know Nodu was bolting forwards. There's the flash pulverized instantly. That's why you saved the True Shot. They did miss it, unfortunately, but Floops has to flash.
Yeah, really, really solid play. And TP coming out from Victor to match topside. Now they can't cross map on the plates for sleeping. Really solid stuff coming out. Yeah, don't look at the poke mid lane. That's rough. But yeah, cross map from fourth wall. Plates coming down bot side, and I think this was the best possible trade for K5.
Yeah, I think K5, they played that very well. They did play that very well. I mean, unfortunately, even with the fact they got those plates, they're still down in gold. In fact, they even have an extra plate up in the top side as well. It's just significant farm lead in the mid lane, jungle. Top's not actually that far. It's only a 10 CS lead, but there are just leads building up across the board. And thank you very much, Observer, for showing us the individual gold. There's a 900 gold lead for Fade over Wantage at this 10-minute mark. Mid lane, bot lane, sorry, only a 100 gold lead for Floops after all of that. So that was kind of like a break-even play coming in from the side of K5 in the bot side.
Yeah, and now you have Ultimate on this Nocturne, probably hovering here to see if he can counter gank if something else happens, just sitting there just in case. But does look like he's just going to path through through his jungle and cycle his camps again. Another quiet one until he gets to pair off with his Orianna.
Yeah, that's going to be the big moment for them.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
The problem is RK5 going to be in position to be able to do these big combos when they go for it, or are they going to be looking to maybe go elsewhere? Ooh. I mean, Sleeping is really struggling. Those two ganks on the top side have heavily costed him here. He's had to use the W just for a bit of extra bonus stats to eat some of that Q damage because he was eating it regardless. And yeah, he's just getting bullied up here. I'd actually like to see Cast come top side to try and help him, but unfortunately for him, there's actually a spoopy ghost up in the top side.
Lots of pings coming down. Seeing the potential for a dive, and diving onto Sleeping would be pretty easy. You could die in Sion form comfortably as Afresh gets collapsed on.
Yeah, they've got the lockdown. They've got everything they need. They've got the needlework as well. Can they get the follow-up damage in? Yes, they can. They even block out. One more needlework coming in, but the shockwave will not make his connection. Beautiful use of the W. Dodging out the Q as well. Caster's picking up kill left, right, and center. Sleeping gets the double. In comes Fade. Bonky down. And absolutely beautiful. Uh-oh, Sleeping. Oh, that was scary.
Oh, that's a disaster, isn't it? Your only lane with a lead in Victor now falls because the Nocturne face checks. I really thought they were just going to pull the trigger and dive with the Nocturne ulti onto the Gwen because Gwen has no flash, right? And didn't have a completed item where you could potentially, where you use the trades that you've been taking so well on a Sion. Fortunately, face checks into a bush and just gets blown up.
That was one of those plays where it just went from bad to worse there with Wantage making his way up and be like, oh no, this is not the play. Sleeping, goes into the mid lane, gets a whole bunch of plates in mid lane as well. Got that dagger for a little bit of extra attack speed. Will the plate ping? Yeah, there it is. Lovely injection of cash. 3 plates in the mid lane now. And big amount of gold going over to the side of Sleeping, and now he's got the Riftmaker. And oh, hold on, they're looking for Grace Post. They do get the lockdown on him. They get the Magnet Storm, but MXE's actually sent Floops flying, get himself the double knock up, and there's one kill. Grace Pass though, he has to flash away. Floops is going to keep the chase up, the tumble forward, but in comes Cast to try and see if he can save the day. He's going to pop back Cast, slows him with the Honey Fruit as well. Actually, they've got the Fear on, they've got all of the damage, but he is burning to the Cryo Phoenix. Down he goes. Afrush has been left on his lonesome with a cow and an Udyr, and that's a kill over to MXE. He deserves it.
Oh, it's just so rough, isn't it? Floop's trying his absolute hardest to salvage a play, but the engage is just out of his auto-attack range, and that's the power of the Alistair, headbutting Floops away so he can't chase down on the Ezreal until very late, and in that time, Cass manages to catch up. Now that's going to be second dragon for Cass, and he is extremely accelerated. This is why we know him for these junglers, these kind of AP junglers, these carry junglers that like to full clear. Diana, the Lilia, the Rumble, all of these kinds of champions. He absolutely loves them, and he always performs.
And that's the crazy thing as well, is for Cast right now is, you know, even if they lose this game, he still has more in the pan. Like, there's more stuff that he can cook up. So, always very scary playing versus a player like this, as MXE just gets a big chunk onto Nodu. Floop's also losing a lot of HP, but in they come with the Nightmare.
No Arcane Shift.
No Arcane Shift. He does get enough Qs off to charge it up, but that might be one dead cow. Down he goes, gets himself the Pulverize. Nodu's in danger! Grave Pass! There ain't no way they 2v3 that.
Manages to turn it around, punting the Rel forward. So Nodu dies, and I think maybe Vantage is gone.
Jump scare! Oh, that is... Vantage
there's Tower.
Vantage is having a series. That is tragic. Absolute tragic. Gets the shot blast as well off onto Sir Victor. Interrupts the ultimate. And down he goes. Fade coming in with a kill. And he's able to make his way under tower to safety as Sir Victor can't really do anything there. That is... They're full floor ready just to get onto the next part of the tournament, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, this is why there's so much urgency to do something into an Udyr, right? If you let an Udyr free farm, he can absolutely take over games, and that's why I put a lot of pressure on utilizing that bot lane priority, using the level 6s, but we never saw anything substantial until much later on, and by then it was too late. The Udyr was already farmed. I wanted to see plays out of this Nocturne. Nah, he's all good.
He's fine. He's fine. Floops is alright.
He could condemn, remember? He's insane like that.
Can he? Can he? Oh,
pressure on it.
He's holding it. He's holding it. He's popped the ultimate. He's getting pulled in by the Magnet Storm. There's the head.
He doesn't do it.
The True Shot Barrage comes in. Floops is low HP. MXE is still alive. He gets caught by the knockup though, and now Grace Pass is in danger. He's stunned. He needs to get the Q. He can't get the damage. One last auto weaved in with the Sheen proc is enough for him to find the kill. As Fade unable to connect onto Afrush either. Oh, there's so much action going on. It's terrifying.
Yeah, honestly, I love both of these AD carries. They're not afraid to get nitty-gritty with it. Such a nice spacing coming out from Floops to wait out and let Ezreal get damaged by the Rel and also CC'd so that he can run in for a True Shot Barrage proc afterwards. Both of them making a best out of a bad situation as we enter a pause.
I think the ADCs just need to like take a break, take a breather after that one.
Yeah.
Oh my word! What a chaotic game 3. I'm glad to see that K5 still have fight in them because you know after such a devastating loss in game number 2, and also you know they kind of threw the game by doing that Baron play in game number 1. It's nice to see that they've not let that kind of get to them too bad, and you know they're looking comfortable. They're quite happy to still take these skirmishy plays, even if they do come out on the wrong end of it. I think a worse team would be too scared to do anything and just kind of roll over. This game is definitely 4-4 favored, but I don't think it's looking, you know, insurmountable right now.
Yeah, we have seen proactive plays, haven't we? We've seen the Sir Victor ultimate down to the bot side, as well as some really nice plays from Floops, 2v2ing and playing out like that, but I don't think it's enough. There's such a monumental jungle and mid gap, I feel like, right now, where you have a Nocturne, but it just hasn't been utilized. Now, another neutral objective is going to go over to the side of Rift Herald, and K5 don't have an answer. There's no cross map available. You're going to dive a Gwen? Good luck.
Well, looks like... Nope. Decides the better of that one. Jumps over. What's the horse thing? Where you go... Show jumping. There it is. Show jumps over the wall.
Yeah, no, this is a reference that I'm just going to nod politely and pretend I understand, because I have no idea.
Bro, I have horse sisters. I do not like those animals. They're mischievous.
They're always pretty big, right? I'm always scared of just their pure size.
They're massive. They're terrifying. MXC, by the way, is dead off on the side of the
Wait,
screen.
what?
Yeah, he got shockwaved. I don't really know what happened.
Huh.
Wantage also went down, but he got shockwaved, and their tower's gonzo. Nodu coming in with a stun onto multiple members. Nodu unable to get the damage off, but Cast is just a complete menace. And now Grace Pass joins in. True Shot Barrage lands as the Survector. They get themselves the ultimate off here from the Nocturne. Where is he going to show up? Knock on the multiple members, and here comes Sleeping. In with the needlework, in with the damage. Floops running away, but he is being cut down by all of these needles. Sleeping gets a double kill. Floops, one last auto from Graves, finds the kill. Down they go. They will lose their base for this.
They're just sieging the base for 16 minutes? What is happening? I didn't think it would end up like that as a 5v5 at the inhibitor. Right? They're deciding, you know, we're not going to play this slow. We're not going to play for dragons. I think Nocturne came down just as Afresh died, so you called, where's the Nocturne? But he was dead. Oh, absolutely bloodbath. I absolutely love it. And now they've got no cooldowns, no summoners. The only person who has anything is Afresh with this flash. I suppose that One Touch does as well. Let's see if they fire this dragon.
Yeah, looks like... I mean, K5 are quite comfortable to fight any dragon, anything, really. Like, even though the gold lead is 9,000 gold, and we are still at 18 minutes, we're not even at the 20-minute mark, and...
that Medjai's.
A gold graph over time for this entire series would be a very one-sided uphill climb, really. Every game has basically followed the same trend as Fade just being a bit of a nuisance to Afresh and taking away a few of his small krugs, denying him. They do get a bit of damage off onto Savictor, who actually, because he's itemized for an AP matchup, loses a lot of HP to Fade there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that inhib, take a look at top side. That inhib is going to be such a pain. It's going to convert into so many towers with that pressure. Assuming Floops hasn't been able to move because he's just sitting there trying to clear and taking that extra income and maybe secure his Triforce before our next fight. Now, that's going to convert, though, into this tier 2 tower. Another 800 gold in the pocket.
Oh, they got the knock-up. They've got the damage.
Oh, no,
Savictor.
Wait, where are you going?
He goes forwards. Don't go forwards, man. That is not the play. Fade has been slowed. He does have to flash away to not give the shutdown over. And Savictor's Ghost Form should just be enough to take out the wave, but they just ignore him and go for the tower. That is all of the outer towers now down. Only 2 inhibitor towers and the 2 Nexus towers standing.
Ooh.
Fourth wall, speed running this series.
No. Yeah, trying to find a potential play if they overextend for that tier 3 tower with the ball on Rel. But even with that shield break, man, Cast is 3 items. He's invincible. Almost a full stack Medjai's. You aren't touching this man unless you... He literally stands there and lets Floops auto him. Now, super minions pouring into the base as well. Someone's going to recall. I guess Sion can hold it, but then you don't have a tank for your fight. So this dragon, it's ultimately going to be fourth walls.
Alrighty, well.
TP
20
up.
minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes. He's got the TP up. Does have 2 items. There is a world where they can pull off that fight. If they can peel enough of the Vayne, they've got the Wombo combo, they've got a Vayne, but Floops finds himself on his own, has to condemn MXE away from him as he peels back towards his team. Luckily unable to get hit by the shot blast, but the problem is they don't want Baron. Dragon, sorry, doesn't matter. They want Baron. That's where the attention is. Sleeping, a little bit unsure about this positioning. May find himself in some danger. Throws the W down. Is going to use that needlework. Dashes the wrong way, though. So they are going down. Shutdown goes to Nodu. Worst case scenario, Baron and a shutdown onto your support. Well, yikes.
At the very least, you get an objective bounty in this dragon. I wonder if someone's going to TP top and threaten the end. That is a very scary teleport potential. I guess they don't have
There's
teleport.
no teleport.
Okay, that was I was holding my breath there still. They're going to put on mid lane.
It's an inhibitor loss, though.
The one consolation prize you have, the objective bounty, because that regular bounty went to the Rel? That's abysmal. How are they going to defend? They've got minions pouring in.
Yeah, they should just be able to take this inhibitor as well. This is getting very, very rough. Acceleration gate comes down, they peel out, and they just go straight towards the bot side where Cast is. Nodu tries to go in for the engage onto him, unable to make the connection. Standing on top of the Orianna ball, though, so Grace Pass has to be a little bit careful. But it looks like they are going to be A-OK and just keeping the Baron pressure up. Sleeping has teleported into the mid lane to keep pressure up on that side. Super minions in top and bot. Baron minions in bot, top and mid super minions. Bot lane's where the supers are. Oh.
They're against the clock now, right now. They have to find an engage before all the super minions bleed in, or otherwise they're just gonna... There it is.
There it is.
It's the engage.
Lights go out. They're going to throw everything down. That's a lot of damage. That might be their moment. Double kill's already been picked up. Afrosh looking for Great Pass. Great Pass not able to get himself away from this one. Triple kill over. That's going to be the quadra kill. They just destroyed Fourth Wall.
And that's exactly what we were talking about. They had to pull the trigger, otherwise they were going to lose their base and have to defend, and then they would lose the bot inhibitor anyway. K5 managed to make the miracle happen. Find that wombo combo we've been talking about the entire series long.
That was beautiful. Honestly, if he had a little bit more gold and had the... what's it called? I can't remember the name of the item now. The arc item, the one where you get your cooldowns back. He actually could have maybe got the penta.
Yeah.
Could have got the penta, because he would have got 80% of his ult back and then could have jumped onto Grave Pass. Oh, baby, that was madness. K5 down, but not out.
Yeah, they keep the dream alive. That inhib has just spawned as well, so they got even more breathing room, but they are still in a horrendous position, right? They are so far behind in gold, probably. Yeah, so there's still 8k down in gold, and all that gold went over to the Nocturne. Not ideal, right? It's still okay, but I'd much rather have on someone like Floops or the mid lane advantage. Now, they have been injected a lot of gold, and there's no dragon threat for the side of Fourth Wall either. They're only on the first dragon, so realistically, the next best play they can make is probably on that Baron.
Gave him the old loop-de-loop, so Victor's able to get out.
Yeah, ring around the rosies.
All right, the question is where do Fourth Wall want to go for? Grave Pass still has Baron, not for much longer. There's the Ram form for the CC and immunity, and
he's dead.
Victor is losing a lot of HP. The lights go out though as Afrosh is looking to jump in. They get themselves a two-man knockup. Shockwave lands onto 2 as well. MXE goes down.
Not again.
In they jump. Not again. It's the same place. It's the same mistake. This time they trade 1 for 1. But the problem is Sleeping is finishing up that inhibitor that was in that top side that just respawned. So refreshing the cooldown on that and buying more pressure for Fourth Wall to work with.
Yeah, trying to pressure the Scion. Can't quite kill him, and then the Nocturne and the Oriana will come through. They're trying to play the side lane very well. I think they should have just been a bit more patient. Let Sleeping push in, and then split attention with that Nocturne. But instead, Sleeping's going to get 1v1, I think.
Yeah, he's in some serious danger. Does have the ultimate on. And,
Ooh.
oh, that's late game Gwen, by the way.
Yeah.
And by late game, I mean 2-item. 2-item Gwen.
They're having real issues trying to siege, even using the side lane pressure because of the threat of the engage from the Ori, the Ori delivery ball service, especially with the Nocturne and the Rel.
And I mean, it's about to get worse because It's about to get worse because Wantage level 14 at the moment. But once the next 2 levels go by, and that's a maxed out shot blast, that is going to just absolutely pop Grave Pass if they're caught inside it. It's going to be really hard for them. Because it does look like they're coming in for the charge. The lights go out. They are going to try and jump in onto the Ezreal. Not going to get it. So Victor's in danger. They're actually going for the base. Because there is Sleeping. They were running amok in the base the whole time. They stopwatch. But all that does is buy time for their team to take this tower down. It's finally down. And the base is a mess. Fourth Wall can push up and take this final inhibitor and take control of the game. No towers to hide behind. No safety net to hide underneath. And Fourth Wall, they are going to have to absolutely mess this one up. But there's the Shockwave into the kill, finding the damage they need. But they get the fear down onto Fade. Fade's in danger, finds Floops, gets himself condemned. Loads of damage coming out from Floops. Floops does go down though. Cast is able to secure the kill at the back. And now Fourth Wall just putting the final crosses on the T's. That's the triple kill. Afrosh looking for Fade. Down he goes, but the 2 last members will be able to close this series out. It was a bloodbath. It was chaotic, that final game. But Fourth Wall, they've done it. They've tidied this one up. They're even going to get the teleport to get Sleeping in. Sleeping, after all is said and done, the hero of Game 3.
Playing the side lane extremely well, and unfortunately too little, too late for the side of K5 with those wombo combos. If they had come in a little bit earlier, maybe they could have lived a little bit longer and scaled up. Fortunately, it's not the case. Now, Hit Brain, I have to ask, who's your MVP? Because the people want to know.
So, I was asked, because we have to submit 3 MVPs. I
said Great Pass.
Wait, is it not 3 MVPs? Ah. So the thing is like Grave Pass was very consistent, but Fade was like super clean on the Yone in game number 2.
That's true.
And Fade played very well in this game. Fade was consistent, but also popped off in a game. So for me, I know my mid lane bias is showing a little bit here, but keep in mind they're losing points for playing Yone because I hate Yone. But it's got to be Fade. Honestly, for me, it's Fade.
Okay, I think that's a good choice though, right? For everyone to vote on Twitter, you can vote for Cast, Fade, or Grave Pass, and I think that's the final choice we're gonna make, right?
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, it's 3 MVP candidates. Okay, thank God. Yeah, so Cast, Fade, and Grave Pass. Cast was so good as well this series.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
really
Completely.
consistent. Weirdly, the worst game they had and the worst cast look was their Belveth, which is the one that everyone's scared of, which is a bit tragic for Cast. But it might lead to some good stuff where people realize maybe their Belveth's not that good and it gets left open a little bit more.
I was kind of impressed with both teams. I was quite impressed with both teams and how they adapted to the fearless drafts, right? Like, constantly getting pinched and still managing to make these cohesive drafts. Even in the last game, right, where everyone in theory should be the pinched the most, you still had the Wombo combo dive versus the disengage composition. It made sense. So, really impressed by both teams. I think both of them could hold their head high, despite being a 3-0.
Yeah, even though it was a 3-0, I am super impressed by Floops. Like, I feel Floops is a player to watch, genuinely.
Absolutely.
Floops looked really, really good this series. And even, like, a game 2 where they got absolutely outmatched. Like, that was just a complete stomp on the bot side from Grave Pass and MXE. I still think Floops looked pretty decent. Also, honorable shout out to the top laner, Sir Victor. Sir Victor just, like...
True.
Completely outlaned sleeping in all 3 games. Like, Sir Victor was a really, really good player. So, I mean, it is a loss, but... I have to give it to the 2 players on the side of K5 who just looked really, really good. Very impressed by them. I'm excited to see the future. I mean, not to say the rest of the players were bad. They were just 2 players on K5 who did stand up to me. I do have to kind of be a little critical now and say I think Wantage was a little bit of a sore spot for K5. Consistently getting absolutely ruined in mid lane. Like, did not have... that game 2 was brutal to watch. I think game 3 was definitely their best game on the Oriana. Some really good shockwaves. But actually, I mean, that shockwave that won them that team fight was absolutely enormous. So, not to say they were a bad player, but they were definitely a bit of a sore spot in this series.
No, absolutely. I think, Wantage, maybe a bit struggling with the champion pool, but still towards the end managed to make those big ultimate wombo combo team fights. I was really impressed with towards the end, but again, it's just what could have happened if game 1 went slightly better, if they hadn't, so many questions. If they hadn't rushed that Baron with a jungler up, could they have had a better series? Would have had momentum going into game 2? Maybe not quite as tilted if they were. It's always one of those, because I've had that happen to me, I've had that happen where we just throw a silly game and then just the whole series goes out the window because people mental boom.
So
Still.
I have to admit, I am now like 100% sold on Fearless Draft, by the way. Like, Fearless Draft is
me too.
So good. It's so good. Very, very impressed by that as a game mode. I hope we do more of this. I really do. I genuinely really hope we do more of this, because
all of NLC next season.
Oh, that's so sick. That'd be honestly so sick. At least for playoffs. I think the reason I'm really sold on it, the reason I really like it, is because if you're a good team, you know how to draft the meta comps and then, like, also have a bit of flex around for the meta comps, right? Like, you know that Kai'Sa's good, so you'll try and get Kai'Sa every game and then just build a team that works around the Kai'Sa. But if you can only play that Kai'Sa once, it shows, first of all, amazing drafting ability, like you said at the beginning. The ability to recognize and build comps and make them work. Also shows, like, depth of champion pool, where players who have wider champ pools get to really show up. Thank you for bringing the graphic up, just so we can see exactly.
I love looking at this
today
as well. Honestly, in the champ select, you're seeing all these picks. Like, oh, they can't pick this now. That's really interesting. So cool. What do they go?
I'm basically really sold. I'm really sold on Fearless. I genuinely want, like, Worlds to be on this, because it show, like, the best teams, like, how good they actually are because of the depth of their champion pools. Like, if this had gone to 5 games, that's what, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 champions, 30 champions after the last bans. That's 30 champs removed from the whole
Hear
champ
me out.
pool.
Hear me out. Regular season, every single game gets rid of the champs that you can't play for the upcoming week. For NLC, you have like 9 weeks of slowly whittling down the champs.
Until they're like on Teemo games.
Yeah.
I feel the problem with that is I don't think there's enough AD carries in the game to do that.
That's true.
I think that's the problem. As support, I think support gets the least love. Yeah, I mean, as a mid laner, great, because there's a lot of flexibility in mid, and you don't just have to play like mid laners, you can play other things. But I think ADCs might whinge a little bit about it. But you know what? They're also playing ADCs, so let them whinge, I guess. Yeah, let's do that. Like, screw 'em. Yeah, Big fan. I'm very excited to see how other teams do. The Ruddy game is going to be very fun. See what they've got, because they're playing versus Burnt as well. So that's going to be quite heated. I'm sold, man. I'm real sold. I'm excited to see. I mean, we got more games coming up, me and you as well.
Just been told that we have Cast as an interviewee standing by. We have to wait for him to join. Actually,
they're not here yet,
Cast,
mate. Don't worry.
Yeah. I want to talk to him about. Yeah, that's true. I shouldn't have announced him yet.
I would love to know what the players' thoughts are on this, because I'm sure, like,
I
saw some people on Twitter being not a massive fan of it, but I like,
oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, the vast majority of people seem to be very much in favor of this. I'm curious what a player thinks about it, though, because I'd be interested to see, because their prep must look very different. And you know what? Exactly. Now's the time. We have Cast standing by for an interview. Hello, Cast. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Salam alaikum, my brother. Salam alaikum. I'm very good. How are you guys, man? How are you guys?
I'm great, mate. I'm absolutely great.
Fantastic.
Did you guys enjoy the 3-0?
Yes, honestly, it was a really good series. Like, even though it was a 3-0, there was elements where it was quite competitive. Game 1, I mean, I don't know what happened to Baron, but it was...
we have to ask. Wait, no, we have to ask. What did you guys say? What were comms like when you stole that Baron? Why are they still doing it?
Bro, like, they expected me to steal the Baron, man. It wasn't like anything like they were like hyping me up, man. They were like, okay, good job, Kaz, next play, man. Man, we came into these games like, okay, we're gonna scrim here. These players are like maybe 1/3 of our LP. I don't know, maybe 1/4. Like, we came in with an ego, bro, and we ended up having a bigger ego after this, man. I'm telling you guys.
So, I gotta ask you about the Fearless Draft, bro. What are your thoughts on it? Because as like viewers and spectators, we really enjoy this, but I'm curious what it's like for a player, because you're losing champions like at a massive rate.
This is the funniest thing League has ever done. I swear,
yes.
This is the funniest shit ever, man. Everyone's enjoying it. Every player, man. Like, now we're screaming, like we're like choosing different champs every time, and when enemy opponent are choosing the same champs, we're like, that's boring, man. That's boring. This is so fun. This is so fun. Where like you pick one champion one game, and then you don't even have to ban it. You can't pick it. You can't do anything with it.
Yeah. So I just want to say, are you scrimming this? Is this the format you scrim with, or no?
We are scrimming it. Opponents aren't. That's kind of meh sometimes, because I swear yesterday enemy played Jace, Maokai, and Kaisa 3 games in a row.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, we're gonna have to ban these 3 champions the third game, because we're not like practicing Fearless right here. But we're choosing 3 different champs. We might get cocked sometimes, like in scrims, because they get to play like the most broken champs, you know.
You don't have to leak. But what is the craziest draft you've had so far? Like, any combinations, anything absolutely wild in scrims or anything like this? You don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm curious, man.
Like, does it matter if we lose or not?
No, go ahead.
If it sucks or like crazy, I would say. Like, do I say the champions?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you want to.
Okay, I'm gonna say like something. A champ I really like, and this champ is gonna get banned next fucking semifinals. But yeah, it's not. My team might not approve this, but it's not.
Okay, don't leak. I'd rather see it.
Don't leak. It's gonna be wild though, right? It's gonna be wild.
I did it for the content, man. It's not for Nico, man. It's like you make everything darkness. Nico like comes from the side, you know. It's like, but so far it hasn't worked out well for us. I'm telling you, bro. I'm just ulting into 5-man and I'm sprinting it every time, man.
But this is actually the biggest big brain play. Like, it's actually working for him. He's saying it's not so people leave it open. It's all genius play. It's mind games as well as drafting.
But can you imagine it in the head, like Nocturne's ult, Nico is out of vision, 5-man ulti, boom, pentakill, man. I'm telling you.
So you have stuff like Ken and Nocturne at the same time, right? Like similar stuff like that where it's come out of fog. I wanted to ask one more thing where, you know, in sometimes in drafts well, in my experience, when I was a player, I would sometimes be like, oh, I don't know what to pick here, and then the time's going down really quick, right? Does this become even harder, or do you plan out every game, like when you go draft prepping? Because I don't know what it's like.
we go 1 hour before
Yeah.
the games, and then we prepare as much as we can for game 1. And
Okay.
after game 1, like game 2, 3, 4, 5 becomes so much easier because we can improvise from there. But
Okay.
game 1, we do as much preparation as possible, and I'm gonna have to give a shout out to our coach Vizerion. He's doing a really good job. He's preparing for every single scenario for game 1, and then like it's so easy for us to play the game when he's like, oh,
So he's
they
the
banned
goat.
these few champions, we prepared for this, we picked these two, like, and then we do this after these 2 bans. Like, man, it's so easy to play the game when you have a coach like this. And like I'm telling you, like, it's so easy to improvise off the first game. No, it's like you already know what the enemy is like aiming towards, what we are looking towards, and it's I'm a big shout out to Viserio, man. Big shout out, man. He makes our job so much easier. Thank you,
I mean,
man.
well, I think the best thing about Fearless is it actually does really shine the skill of a coach, of like a good coach, someone who can plan and prep right, because they can't just go, all right, this is what I'm going to play every game. They, like you said, they have to really think about it and be really well prepped. So big shout out to your coach. Cast, thank you very much for joining us for this interview. Congratulations on the 3-0, and hopefully we'll have you back on next time. All right, see you later.
Yeah. See you guys. Good time.
See you.
Bye, man.
He highlights some really good points there.
Yeah.
First of all, it's great to hear that the players love this game mode, because it is so much fun, and like
It's so
they're
funny,
really positive about it. And like you said as well, it's honestly one of the things I don't think we really did give a big enough shout out to is the coaching, because like being a coach for Fearless is like so much extra work. I'm sure the players love it. I'm sure the coaches are like, oh god, how much more have I got to prep? I was interested that it's very improvisational on Fourth Wall, because I figured that like they'd have like 6-7 comps kind of pre-planned and just like pick from the pool depending on what's
That's what I
available.
thought as well.
But no, it sounds like it's just like have game 1 ready and then just prep during the game. Amazing. Should we bring the bracket up if that's ready? I hope it's ready. Yeah, there we go. Good job. Alrighty, so Fourth Wall are through to the next stage of the tournament. They'll be playing versus either Lazy or DMG, who will be playing they're playing tomorrow's games? No, the day after, 18th. They're playing on the 18th. Don't worry, ignore me. So these guys are playing in 2 days' time, so make sure you come and join us for that one. Then obviously we've still got the bottom side of the bracket to go. Any of these games you're looking forward to?
Oh, it's difficult. I feel like your eyes just go down to the bottom with Verdant.
Yeah, I feel like it is, right?
It's so hard to see anything else. It's just so stacked in terms of NLC Div 1 last split that you want to see it, don't you?
It's going to be a banger reunion. I'm well excited for that one. Also, make sure that you guys head over to Twitter, because you can vote for our MVPs. We put 3 up for grabs, one of which was the lovely Cast, who we had on the interview. Honestly, after that interview, I might switch from Fade to Cast. He was such a lovely guy. Then obviously Fade and Graves Pass were our 3 MVP votes here from the side of Fourth Wall. You've made yourself pretty clear on who you think. Me and Aragon always have differing opinions on MVP.
This is true, isn't it?
Okay,
so the thing
spice
is,
of life, mate.
Top laners hate AD carries, and I'm voting AD carry, right? Because I have no influence on what
No
happens
one
with my
likes AD carries, mate. That's not a top laner exclusive thing.
But I'm voting AD carry, and I think that carries a lot of weight, because I think top laners have the least influence on AD carry, so they're usually the biggest crybaby. So I think Great Patch should get it.
And also, I guess I do have to give you your dues on this one.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, predictions 3-0 over to Aragon. Absolutely smurfed it today. I mean, I knew I was just voting for the new guys. That's why. It was all just it was just
I mean, fair enough. I just think it was a bit spicy. Everyone had, namby-pamby 3-1s. Like, come on, man. Grow a sack. Vote a 3-0 somewhere. At least vote a K5 3-0 or something.
Oh, man. Well, with that is us done with today's broadcast. We will be back on the 18th for our second round of games. This is so banger. You don't want to be missing out on this. This is the best League of Legends you're going to get, and Worlds is on at the moment, but Fearless is way more fun. Thank you very much for watching us, and we will be back on the 18th for more games, so we'll see you later.
See you guys.